Welcome back to as we continue Gundog. Back on Earth, we have drama and VTubers, journalists from India lying about people. None of that matters now, though, because right now we're gonna liberate ourselves from gravity. If you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, that's the point. We're just gonna liberate ourselves from all that drama of the VTubing space right now, because none of it ever matters. And we're gonna jump right in to some Gundog. Now, what the hell has happened in Gundog, though? What is Gundog? It's a visual novel inspired by Gundam. And what the story is, for last time on Dragon Ball Z, is we are a survivor from the last battle of pretty much the 1-year war in this universe. However, we survived only because our mech didn't launch because of a technical malfunction, leading to the only other survivor of our squadron resenting us. But that's not a problem, the military's big, who cares? So anyways, we are stationed aboard the Gundog, pretty much a scouting ship. We were stationed there because our girlfriend fudged some numbers so we'd be there together with her, because she got there because she kinda was a little bit of a screw up, don't worry about it. But we have a full cast of crew, all sorts of people, including that one other survivor. He's an asshole. But it's a whole cast and crew, you know, here on the Gundog. We have Cathay, you know, the character we decided was a Gaelic engineer because they were in engineering and it's a science fiction. We have a character we gave Dex's laboratory voice. We have all sorts of people here. Okay, when we get to them, I'll fucking introduce them. It doesn't matter, I'll tell you who they are. You'll be able to figure out pretty quickly. But the story right now sits as we were going out to investigate a mysterious signal. However, right before we discovered the signal, right when we got into visual contact with our sister ship, the O'Brien, everything went dark. And we had to actually go on a spacewalk outside the ship to get to engineering so we could reactivate the ship. Or get the tools to reactivate the ship. However, once the ship was reactivated, we found that the O'Brien was no longer there. And, oddly, when the ship went dark, our girlfriend, Cassandra, fell unconscious. So, let's jump right into it. April 23rd. Planetary calendar, 241. Despite the successful reactivation of the JFS Gundog central computer by Lieutenant Vesper, the JFS O'Brien could not be contacted and was no longer coming up on sensors. After taking Lieutenant Commander Quinn to a sickbay, Lieutenant Vesper alongside Cadet Grange are tasked with sweeping the ship for faults or damage, whilst Lieutenant Lord sets Chief Cathays to work helping her locate the other ship. The JFS O'Brien is eventually located, just as Captain Bartomew's calls an emergency meeting. Oh! I'm surprised it was located. Outer Jovian space, the bridge of the Jovian patrol ship, JFS Gundog. As the Chief and Lieutenant Lord stand in attention waiting for Captain to begin the meeting, the sound of an approaching elevator is the only noise that can be heard in the tense silence of the bridge. You will actually give me 1 minute. Change glasses. I just realized I'm wearing the wrong ones. Give me 1 moment. Okay, sorry about that. Whoop. Let's get off our coat and let's put on some glasses. Hansen, he's the asshole. Ooh. He blames us for everyone dying in the final battle, even though we had a technical malfunction. What voice did we give him? We made his... Oh, let's make him well, actually, How does Val Kilmer sound like? Well, he doesn't sound like much of anything now that he's dead, does he? Also, why is the screen, like, zoomed in like this? Let me see if I can fix that real quick. That looks slightly better. Ooh, I don't know why it's zoomed in. Oh, actually, it's zoomed out, not zoomed in. Ensign Hansen Cross, entering the bridge and reporting as ordered. Hansen states, performing a lazy salute as he steps out of the elevator and onto the bridge. You shift slightly as you watch him enter. You knew you were waiting for someone, but why Hansen? He pauses for a moment and you see him take a stock of everyone present. Your shoulders tense up and you inadvertently clench your jaw as he heads straight towards you. At the last moment, he steps to your side and takes a place in the lineup next to you without so much as a sideways glance. You remain on edge, but your attention is quickly taken by the captain as she finishes reviewing the readouts from the control panel on her chair and stands up. She's an alcoholic. That's just a statement of fact. We found that out last chapter. At ease. The four of you relax slightly, although, with the exception of Hansen, you all maintain a formal stance. Now that we're all assembled, we can begin. First of all, well done to all of you for your actions whilst I was indisposed. For a brief moment, the captain's eyes meet yours and do your best not to react. Aside from the doctor, you were confident that you were the only person on board who knew the nature of the captain's indisposition. You hadn't mentioned it to anyone else and didn't intend to, but you find yourself wondering if she was currently in a fit state to be organizing a mission. Your cooperation, ingenuity, and composure under pressure have been noted, and I will be recommending formal awards to be applied to your records. She's a bitch. This character is just, there's nothing more to her. She is full bitch. Just 110% bitch. Okay. Out of the corner of your eyes, you notice Vanessa nod in agreement, but the rest of you remain still. Now, on to the matter at hand. As of 11:46 Jovian Standard Time, a signal of an unknown origin was received, which shut down not just the Gundog central computer, but also all of its emergency backup systems as well. With Commander Quinn unexpectedly taken ill, Lieutenant Lord took command, and Lieutenant Vesper was able to carry out her plan to access the hangar via extended airlock. I'm pretty sure that wasn't her plan, but let's just stick with that. You'd been too busy carrying out the assessment of the ship's system alongside Dalton to submit an incident report, and you knew that the chief had been tasked by Vanessa without locating the unresponsive O'Brien. You bite your tongue and glance back at the bitch, who nods again, the corners of her mouth curling upward. The captain was clearly working from a biased interpretation of events. From there, Lieutenant Vesper was able to obtain the portable sub-terminal and the codes for the reactivation of the central computer, a process he carried out successfully at 1327. Although the Gundog is now operational, we have not been able to make contact with the O'Brien. We can only assume that whatever interfered with the Gundog systems had the same impact on the O'Brien. Unfortunately, it would appear their crew have not been able to reactivate its systems, as we have received no communications from there whatsoever. Chief Cathays, do we have an update on the O'Brien? The group turns to look at the chief as she steps forward, and you realize that this is the first time you've seen her outside the engineering or the hangar. Although she stands as tall as ever, there's something about her presence that feels diminished. Yes, ma'am. We have not had any response from the O'Brien transponder, and the normal sensors haven't been able to pick up any of their usual activity from the ship. However, You hear Vanessa and the chief pauses briefly before continuing. That is, Lieutenant Lord, and I have realized that by using the infrared targeting sensors in fire control, we could pick up the O'Brien itself as if it were debris. We've located it at 43 degrees off the starboard bow, at a distance of roughly 300 kilometers. Resolution gets a bit scrappy at the range, but we're not seeing any internal signs of activity. I see. Lieutenant Lord, how long until we can lock with with them to provide assistance? Oh, dock with them. I think the chief is best equipped to handle that question, ma'am. The chief pauses for a moment. You know the answer to this question, but so should the chief and Vanessa. As the silence drags on, you begin to wonder why either of them are forthcoming. Chief Cafe. The pause only becomes more loaded as the seconds pass. Whilst you have no idea what's happening here, you can feel the tension between the chief and Vanessa build. Although you can tell something is going on between the two of them. You know that the crew of the O'Brien must be in a similar situation to the one you just faced, and without immediate assistance, they were at risk of running out of breathable air very soon. You'd put up enough from Vanessa for today, and weren't about to let her petty power plays get in the way of helping your comrades. We can't. It's the engines, ma'am. They're still offline. What's that, Lieutenant? Whilst Cadet Grange and I were assessing the ship for faults and security issues, we found that the engines had failed to restart. Diagnostics show that the forced shutdown put the nuclear pulse engines offline. They need to be manually reactivated. The captain lets out an exasperated sigh as she hears this information, making no effort to conceal her frustration. Captain, and how long until they can be back online? You prepare to answer with what Dalton had told you, but you're cut off by the chief. We're looking at 6 hours, ma'am. We've been preoccupied with finding the O'Brien, so I haven't had the opportunity to begin the startup process to get them running again. The captain follows the information with another sigh. You'd always thought of her as a distant and disinterested, but considering her current state, you had to wonder how much of that was her simply working her way through a hangover. I see. The captain stands silent for a moment, keeping her eyes closed and pinching the bridge of her nose with her thumb and forefinger. Suddenly her eyes open and she stands completely upright, assuming a posture you're surprised to see from her that manages to communicate an air of not just authority, but capability. We'll be carrying out a mission as follows. The four of you snap back to attention. Even Hansen seems to take this announcement seriously. As we're not able to reach the O'Brien with the gun dog to provide support, we'll be doing the next best thing. Ensign Cross and Ensign and Lieutenant Vesper will head over in an armored frame to provide assistance. You clench your teeth and your body goes rigid. Not only would this be your second trip into space, in the span of a few hours, but you'd be doing it with Hansen as company. Your eyes dart over across to Hansen, whose attention remains on the captain. You can't be sure, but you swear you see a flicker of a smile on his face. We'll be working on the assumption that the same issue affecting the Gundog are affecting the O'Brien. Lieutenant Vesper will take a portable sub-terminal, locate the captain or second in command, and then utilize their access codes to assist their chief engineer in reactivating the ship. If there are complications, or we're too late, then our second priority will be to obtain the O'Brien's black box. At the very least, we can hopefully gather some information on what's out there that could immediately disable 2 Swift-class ships. Stop breaking, model. Bye-bye. Lieutenant Vesper, Ensign Cross, do you both understand? The pair of you salute in unison. Response. Yes, Captain. Yes, Captain. Chief Cathay, I want you to provide a fully charged portable sub-terminal and guidance on removing a Swift-class's black box. After that, prepare the Gundog for one launch, and then I want those engines back online, understood? Yes, Captain! Lieutenant Lord, you'll be overseeing this mission, understood? Yes, Captain. Why? Why can't you oversee this mission? Anyone but Vanessa. Very good. It's 8. It's not 8. It's actually 4. It's 1603. It's 1603. This mission commences at 1630. Dismissed. With this final instructions out of the way, you all salute the captain and turn to leave. The chief is first of you to reach the elevators, and she steps into one without waiting for anyone else, pressing the button for her destination and disappearing behind its doors as they hiss shut. Can't blame her. I'd want to get away from Vanessa too. Without paying you any attention, Vanessa and Hansen both step into the remaining elevator, with Vanessa hitting a button as soon as the pair of you have boarded. As the doors close, you see her turn to Hansen, cross her arms, and begin to speak, but her words are cut off before you can hear them. You remain on the silent bridge with the captain, oh captain, my captain, who you can hear return to her chair. Whilst you wait for the elevator to return, you go over what you might need to do in your head. It will be the chief's responsibility to get you a charged portable sub-terminal, and Hansen and Dalton will be responsible for pre-flight checks. I think Dalton... Is Dalton the other engineer, or is he the one we named Maverick? I think it's the other engineer. Aside from getting a spacesuit from the hangar, you realize you don't really have anything you need to do before the mission starts. With less than half an hour to go before you'll be taking off, you don't have much time to be doing anything either, though. You might have the opportunity to visit a few other crew members to check in on them, you think, but it might be a push to visit everyone. Eventually, the elevator and the chief left in returns, and the door hisses open. I want to talk to Bartimeus. Yes, Lieutenant. Can I help you? You'd thought you'd know what you wanted to ask the captain, but in the moment you find your words catch in your throat and you're suddenly unsure of yourself. You got a lot of questions and not a lot of time. It doesn't help that some of these questions are more dangerous than others. I have a mission to prepare you. I have a mission to prepare, and you need to be boarding that armored frame with Ensign Cross. If you've got something to say, I suggest you do so quickly. I don't have a lot of time to complete this mission plan, so I can't talk with you for long. Based on the captain's terse response, you decide you should focus on the one thing that's most important and to you right now. Ensign Cross, because he's the senior suit pilot, so that's a stupid question. About your condition, that's private. You've not been giving this thought as much attention as some of the other matters that had. I feel like there should have been an option just to go like, nah, never mind. But the Cassie in the sick bay and thought of the Gundog remaining, what could be extremely dangerous territory, didn't sit well with you. As regarding our original mission, based on current events, once we secure the O'Brien, what will our plan be? Well, Lieutenant, the Gundog's task was to provide backup or support as necessary, so what happens to that plan largely depends on what's happening on board the O'Brien. If the crew are as resourceful as you and are alive and well, our task will be to get the O'Brien operational again. From there, we'll do our best to identify the source of whatever happened and alert JCF HQ. Of course, if those on board the O'Brien weren't as fortunate as we were, then the threat posed to a single Swift class would be deemed too great, and we'd make our report whilst heading back to more secure territory. Meaning that if everyone on O'Brien is dead, then our mission is already over. Why do you ask, Lieutenant? Your stomach sinks as a sudden realization hits you. Once again, the outcome you find yourself hoping for the most is the one where you're kept away from the action by a turn of fate. But for that to happen, it'd need to be like last time. PTSD! You find yourself almost nauseated at the fact that you'd trade the well-being of everyone aboard the O'Brien for both yours and Cassie's safety. Pussy! Despite that, you couldn't stop yourself from having the thought. Lieutenant Vesper? Oh, no particular reason, ma'am. Just looking to plan ahead. Very good, Lieutenant. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going on a mission. So I've got a mission plan I need to complete. Of course, ma'am. Thank you. And with that, you step away from the captain, who resumes inputting information into the control panel. She was waiting for us, chat. She does care. Oh, God forbid. As the elevator doors open and you're immediately confronted by Vanessa standing in front of you, her arms crossed and her foot tapping impatiently. Well, it took you long enough, Lieutenant Vesper. 2 seconds into the conversation and you're already a raging bitch. Ooh, what a day. You sidestep her and you sidestep her and make your way into the central hub. As you do, she turns to follow you. My apologies, Lieutenant. I didn't realize I was needed so urgently. Well, I wouldn't go that far, Vesper. Just fucking lip smack at me, you bitch. Yes. Your frustration with Vanessa had cooled over the past few hours. Yeah, we went from, like surface of the sun to, mantle of the earth. The past few hours, you'd spent time with Dalton and had been carrying out duties that kept you well away from her. But back in her presence, you remember how tense things had gotten between you on the bridge over the radio. That's a really weird way to say it. To say during the operation, how tense things had gotten during the operation. Because on the bridge and over the radio, it's a little clunky. It feels a little clunky to me. That's just me, okay? Ooh. I like how it's been, what? It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since we've been able to read Gundog. And I like, my hatred for this character has not gone down one iota. It's still like, you are just a terrible person. You're just awful. Lieutenant Lord, I've got a mission to prepare for. Is there anything I can help you with right now, or can I get going? It's nothing much, Lieutenant. I just wanted to say that you did a good job on getting the Gundog operational again. Where's the but? Something about Vanessa's mana makes you instantly uneasy. Considering how she's behaved recently, praise was the last thing you'd expect or trust. Is that right? That's funny. The captain seems under the impression that you had a lot more to do with it than I did. Well, as the only active member of operations, I did have a significant part to play as the officer in charge of things. But don't let that get you down. I wanted to congratulate you as a member of the crew who went above and beyond. The commendation you've received is the least you deserve. What's this about, Lieutenant? What's your angle? You ask, your patience thinning rapidly. Straight to the task at hand. That's what I like about you, Lieutenant. Now, a proficient, able crew member like yourself, you know what it means to do your duty. But you've seen how the captain and her second carry out their affairs on this ship. What are you getting at? All I want to know, Lieutenant, is whether you think the crew members like yourself, Chief Engineer Cathay, Cadet Grange, and the rest deserve a competent commander. Are you fucking literally trying to recruit me for a coup? What is happening right now? Are you trying to get me to coup my girlfriend right now? You know what? We're done. Your recent discovery about the captain comes back to the front of your mind, but instead of answering, you make a move to walk past Vanessa, fully intending not to get involved in whatever shit she's scheming. Lieutenant Lord, I really don't have time for this. Based on your recent contact, Lieutenant, you seem pretty reliable, so I wanted to let you know ahead of time. I'll be keeping a close eye on this mission to see who's capable and who isn't. You're in the military and you're still a mean girl bitch. How does this happen? Is this normal? Is this what women in the military are like? In the Navy, I guess, because this would be the equivalent of the Navy? What is going on? Is it just mean girls? It's important to know who you can trust to do what needs to be done after all. What? Anyway, nice talking with you, Lieutenant. Good luck on the upcoming mission. With that, Vanessa turns on her heel and heads off down the four-side thoroughfare, leaving you alone in the central hub. Oh, Lieutenant. Do your best. I'll be watching, voyeur. Okay. Sick bay. We need to see our girlfriend. We need to see the goddamn, like, anime as ass German scientist. The elevator doors slide open and you raise your hand to shield your eyes from the aggressive glare of the sick bay's powerful lighting. As you've come to expect, the strong scent of clinical disinfectant pervades the room. As harsh as it is, it's infinitely preferable to the powerful odor of the captain's quarters. Both are alcohol, but you know, one just has a little less vomit. Not much, but a little less vomit smell. Scanning the room, you see that everything seems in order. The doctor sits at his desk, absorbed in his datapad. All the medical supplies are carefully arranged in their cabinets, and the surgery wing continues to look immaculate. The only thing out of place is There he is, Merrick! Cassandra, who had been idly laying back on one of the beds playing with her hair, had seen you the moment you stepped into the room and swung her legs around the side of the bed, launching herself off it towards you. I hear all about how you'd... Whoa, Cassie, careful! You dart forward just in time to grab her before she stumbles. She'd taken turns into a fall. Sorry. Before the stumble she'd taken turns into a fall. All right, let's get you back to bed. Thanks, Merrick. In one swift motion, you scoop Cassie up in your arms and carry her back to the bed, setting her down and I'm sorry, I'm a little upset we don't get a quick splash frame of a princess carry. Come on, I know it's only like lasts for 2 seconds in game, but I want to see us princess carry this woman. Setting her down on the one she'd just been lying on. Okay. I think I could have made that journey on my own, you know? Well, better safe than sorry, right? Still, looking after me after everything you've done already. My hero. Oh, sorry. Was just checking the time. Your cheeks go flush and you look away for a moment. The captain's acknowledgement of your actions had been so perfunctory that it had barely registered, but Cassie's wholehearted praise as you suddenly feeling sheepish. No, it wasn't a big deal. It was just what I had to do. I'm pretty sure anyone else would have done the same thing if they were in the position. Don't sell yourself short, Mary. It is a big deal. Saving an entire crew from a complete system failure with no chain of command isn't exactly something that we get trained for. Plus, I didn't hear about anyone else going on a spacewalk from one end of the ship to the other to get the equipment they needed. If doing all that doesn't make you a hero, I don't know what does. You smile and look back at Cassie. And as self-conscious as you feel being called a hero, her assessment of events isn't wrong. Thanks, Cassie. I'm pretty sure I should still be thanking you, Mary. I didn't think Vanessa could have carried me down here like you did. You bite your tongue at Cassie's mention of Vanessa. You had a strong feeling that Vanessa wouldn't have even tried. You push the thought from your mind. You didn't have much time with Cassie before that your mission is due to begin, and the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about Vanessa. Don't worry about it. How are you doing anyway? Oh, me? I'm doing great. Aren't I, Doc? Although he doesn't look up for this from his datapad, you see a flicker of recognition in the doctor's face. No, Miss Quinn, you are not doing great. You had a sudden and intense migraine followed by unexplained extended loss of consciousness, which in turn has been followed by a persistent and ongoing headache. I don't know what this accent is, but it's something. I would not look to describe your condition as great. Cassie, why didn't you tell me you were still feeling bad? Oh, come on. What are you, my doctor? No, but he is. No, Miss Quinn, he is not your doctor. It's an expression, Doc. Rumph. So, I've got a bit of a headache right now. I bet it's nothing. It's probably because I pulled a double shift to cover the captain without eating anything but a bag of chips and 3 choco bars. Cassie. Miss Queen, you'd advised me you'd been sticking rigorously to your Nutri-Shake schedule I'd laid out for. Okay, everyone, jeez. I know, but here I am, hydrated and full of electrolytes on doctor's orders. I'm going to be fine. So anyway, I should have given a voice like Odo from Deep Space Nine. Czechoslovakian? I have no idea. It is very general Central European. That's all I know. Ooh, some kind of Germanic, but not German specifically. How are you doing, Mary? Are you able to finish your shift now that the gun dog's back up and running and you're made sure everything's okay? Girl just had like a near-death experience for no apparent reason, and she's just like, hey, you off the clock right now? Good girlfriend. Well, actually, we've not been able to make contact with the O'Brien, so I've been ordered to head over there in an armored frame. Oh no, honey. That seems really with Hansen. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. How are you feeling about it? Not looking forward. We don't sugarcoat emotions with our girlfriend. If I'm being honest, I'm really not looking forward to it. You let out a deep sigh as various thoughts about the mission fill your mind. We will give, on the O'Brien, if it has a chief security officer, we'll give him... You know what? If we meet a chief security officer, it's probably going to be Odo, actually. It's probably going to be a character inspired by Odo, because we've already seen Bashir on the O'Brien. Ooh, we will be able to do an Odo impression. You let out a deep sigh as various thoughts about the mission fill your mind. I'm not sure what's going to be worse, being stuffed inside an AF with him or the flight over, or having to work with him once we get aboard the O'Brien. I'll be a superior officer whilst we're over there. I don't even want to think about how he'll take that. You taper off as you begin to mentally run through all the terrible outcomes you can imagine coming from such a situation. Yeah, I don't think you were here for this, but they revealed like the chief communication officer or something was Bashir. Was literally named like Lieutenant Bashir, and he was designed to look like Bashir from Deep Space Nine. Ooh. And I actually I just gave him Bashir's voice, or at least as best as I could approximate to it. Hey, don't worry about it. As much as Hansen is... like he is an overwhelming douchebag, he's still part of the JCF and one of our crew members. He likes to throw his weight around where he can get away with it, but I don't think he'll do it on an inappropriate mission, on an important mission. You okay, Gunner? He's just looking out the window. He's sleepy. He's very sleepy. Oh, do you like being on the furniture and resting your little doggy brain out? I think he's a little too proud to ruin his reputation as an ace pilot by starting to flight inside his AF. Though in all honesty, considering that the ship is called the O'Brien, I'm gonna guess we're probably not gonna see any other crew members. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be an empty ship. That's just my guess. Besides, once you're on the O'Brien, you can just get to work helping the other crew and ignore him. Because O'Brien, if O'Brien would have been a character, he would have been the chief engineer. Unless they even have like a ROM-inspired character who could be the chief engineer. But then who would be the second engineer? You see, that's the problem. Well, that's the other thing. Oh, well, that's the other thing. It looks like whatever happened to the Gundog has happened to the O'Brien. Since we're not able to identify any activity coming from them, there is a good chance that their crew hasn't made it. Oh no! Yeah. Hey, come on! They may have not gotten the ship back up and running. Whoop! But maybe they've got their own savvy chief engineer who has figured out a solution that keeps them all safe. And on top of that, if they're really lucky, they've got their own heroic security officer who's saving the entire crew right now. Yeah, you're right. I'm sure it'll be fine. You do your best to match Cassandra's enthusiasm, but you hadn't forgotten that the chill in the air of the Gundog just before you'd gotten it back online. One of the first signs that a ship wouldn't be able to sustain a crew much longer. That had been over 3 hours ago. Hey, Mary. Whatever happens, it'll be alright. You've already done incredible things today, way more than anyone could have ever expected. You're gonna be alright. Thanks, Cassie. Besides, you said you'd book us tickets for that new water park on Europa. I'm not going to let anything happen that'll stop us from going. Is there like, are we settled on Europa itself, or is like they said Europa cluster? So is this like Gundam, where we have colonies around Europa, and Europa is like this kind of like the gravitational anchor for these colonies? Which one? I'm kind of just realizing that, because it would actually be better to do the latter than trying to terraform or settle on Europa itself, because the difference in gravity. Because with a cluster of colonies in orbit of Europa, you could actually have a safer, you could actually adjust the gravity on those colonies, I just realized. I have no idea. But that would also explain why it's called Europa Colony, because it's more of a generalistic term for the multiple colonies on that orbit Europa. 1 minute. I need to blow my nose. Now get out there and nail that mission, Vesper, and then come back and nail me. Oh yeah. Yes, ma'am. Move to, I think it's a 4-side thoroughfare, and then it's to hangar. Is really hangar? Okay, hangar's on the second thing. As the ship's gravity disappears, you slowly float down and the final few steps leading to the hangar. Once your almost weightless feet connect with the steel flooring of the catwalk, you kick off it and towards the guardrail, grabbing it before you float past and bringing yourself to a stop. Ahead of you, are the typical sights of the hangar, but for the first time since you'd boarded the Gundog, its expanse is filled with noise and motion rather than the usual near silence and stillness. You see Dalton floating from one segment of the furthest armored frame to another, clearly in the process of carrying out its pre-flight checks. As he arrives at each new part, he opens an access panel, checks the hidden machinery and mechanisms underneath, then slams the panel closed. Just say machinery. Saying machinery and mechanisms is redundant. Occasionally stopping to take one tool or another from his belt and apply adjustments to the frame's inner workings. Alongside the erratic slamming of the panels and whirring of electronics, tools coming from Dalton. You also hear the back and forth of a bickering between Hansen and Vanessa. Ooh. You watch as Hansen, donning his flight suit, snaps at the lieutenant and then kicks off into the empty space of the hangar. They're made for each other, chat. They're made for each other. Ooh, they're both pieces of shit. Swiftly followed by Vanessa, who does not let up or whatever it is she is trying to discuss. Though Hansen is an asshole because of trauma, Vanessa's just a bitch. Glancing at your watch, you see that it's almost the scheduled time to depart and start the mission. Yes, we got in under time. No use putting it off any longer, I guess. Let's talk to Dalton. Doing your best to not draw the attention of the squabbling Hansen and Vanessa, you wait until Dalton turns your way and then have at him, gesturing for him to come over to you once you've caught his attention. I like doing Dalton's voice. It's a very simple, just nervous wreck of a voice. Hey Dalton, how are you, how the preparations going? Lieutenant preparations are, at ease, cadet. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Don't worry about it. Everything all right, though? Yeah, sir. Everything is fine. Thanks. It's just, This is the first time I've actually had to prepare an armored frame for real mission. Every other time has been for a drill or a test or the like. I really don't want to screw it up. Hey, take it easy, cadet. I'm sure you've done a good job. But how am I making your game? Jesus Christ, how intensive is your game right now? Jesus, it's taking that much of your computer? Because I'm so studly. Thank you. Ooh. But what if I've done something wrong? Then it's in Crosswood. It's a fucking giant robot. It's fine, bro. Slow down a second, Dalton. Sorry, sir. No problem, cadet. Just take it easy. Then again, if it's Expedition 33, that is a newer game, and I haven't checked out its requirements, so that might be a little bit of an intensive game. I would not be surprised. Ooh. Indie, or is it indie or is it middle market? Probably a little bit of both. But indie project or not, it's running on Ultra. Well, that's your problem, you greedy bastard. I'm running it on everything. I'm melting my graphics card. Maybe the problem isn't my stream. Maybe the problem is that you're a sadist and you're whipping your computer a little too hard. But tell me, have you ever screwed up any of your armored frame drills before? Well, no. Okay. Sorry, I was a little far away from the mic. Or any tests? No, I guess not. AA? So middle market is what that means to me. Yeah, AA would be something like, say, if you're familiar with the Styx games, STYX, Styx Master of Shadows or Styx Shards of Darkness. Really good stealth games. They're actually releasing a third Styx game, I think, this or next year, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's, a real fun game series if you're a fan of, like, you know, Thief or other stealth games, you know. I would definitely recommend Styx, Shards of Darkness, and Master of Shadows. I think Shards of Darkness is the second one, and Master of Shadows is the first one. I don't want to spoil the story or anything, but it's really fun. They have a wisecracking goblin who's just a complete a-hole. And that's your character. I'm gonna spend $600 on a graphics card. I'm gonna use it, damn it. You do you then. Don't make it so, just make sure you don't have to spend another $600 getting a replacement graphics card. So why would you think you've done something wrong? So why would you think you've done something wrong this time? I mean, Ooh. It feels like a AAA game. It's probably because it has more attention than AAA games. It's not made by committee. Honestly, considering its background, it probably feels like a AAA game from 10 or 20 years ago, because it was made in the same way that AAA games used to be made 10 or 20 years ago, where they were made with passion and care by people who had an idea and had a vision. You know, not like, I feel like, really, I want to use the term quadruple A games as kind of just a derogatory way. Like, it's not like the modern quadruple A game, which is just, again, made by committee, and there's no passion behind any of it. I'm sorry, I guess I was just getting a bit nervous. It's exactly, it's all right, cadet. I don't know why I said exactly. Oh, I think I combined what you said with what I was reading. It's all right, cadet. We will get a bit nervous. We all get a bit nervous the first time we have something for real. You know, if you have like any insecurity problems or what have you, you know, like, well, I might recommend like a nice little anime called ReZero. It's like from like 300. It's like from what, like 300 years ago, but it's real fucking peak. Okay, you know, if you're having like some like security or self-worth issues, I think you'll really fucking connect with the character Natsuki Subaru. Real fucking peak. You check that out, bro. Okay. That goes for you too, Chad. That's a real good anime. Check it out. I can't watch it because I'm just stuck in the mid-season and I have to suffer forever. Just stuck at the midpoint of season 2, slowly dying inside while I'm not allowed to watch it because I made a promise not to watch it without another person. But they're like, they work as many jobs as Uncle Ruckus, and I respect the hell out of that. But I hurt inside. That's a bit of a random tangent. But I've seen how hard you work and what the chief puts you through, so I'm sure you've got it all done up to her standards. Though actually not being able to continue ReZero just means I have to re-watch ReZero the first season and a half over and over again and just reanalyze everything. And there's a lot to analyze in that show. It really captures the breadth of human not the breadth of human experience, but it captures the breadth of the human experience that it's focused on extremely well, both intentionally and incidentally. Thanks, sir. Although, she always makes me double check the actuators. What have I forgotten? The actuators? Ah! Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to him. You know I hate Vanessa when I'm literally going to talk to Iceman first. I'm so pissed off I can't give him a Val Kilmer voice. I can only think of Doc Holliday, and I'm not gonna make him sound like Doc fucking Holliday. I would want to make him sound like Iceman from, I'd want to make him sound like Iceman from Top Gun, which I'm kind of upset that it took me until this part to realize that he's Iceman, because his not co-pilot, but his the other pilot is obviously Maverick from Top Gun, patterned after Maverick. He's obviously Iceman, and it makes me so annoyed that I didn't get that until like last week when I was thinking about this game, and I didn't rewatch Top Gun to figure out how Iceman talked. That's my bad. As Hansen and Vanessa continue their argument, oblivious to your presence, you maintain your grip on the guardrail. It's almost time for the mission, so you could get ready to depart. But if you've got anything you wanted to do before you left, now would be the time. Was there anything I needed to do before I set off? I talked to my girlfriend. We could talk to the chief engineer, but I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary to talk to the chief engineer or nothing. I think we're good. Although the prospect of the upcoming mission makes your stomach drop, you take a deep breath in and hold it briefly and exhale slowly. And we're getting like the space suit here and whatnot, so we should be good. Gathering up your resolve, you kick over the storage lockers near the hangar and entrance and remove a flight suit from one, pulling it on over your normal uniform. It had taken you much longer to get the suit on earlier, but thanks to the unwelcome refresher, you now slide it on relatively effortlessly, with relative ease. I don't like. Wait, where is it? Yeah, relatively effortlessly with relative ease would be a lot cleaner. Ooh, just saying. After closing the clasps on the last of the suit's seals, you take the helmet from the locker and tuck it under your arm, turning back to face the main hangar. They needed an editor, is what they needed. Or, if they had an editor, they needed a better editor. Hansen and Vanessa bickering doesn't seem like it will end anytime soon, so with a wary exhalation, you float forward, vault over the guardrail, and kick off, and sending yourself towards Hansen's armored frame. Lieutenant Fensfer, reporting for duty. I said my name wrong. Don't worry about it. I stuttered on my own name. Don't worry about it. You announce loudly as you grab on the shoulder of the armored frame. Vanessa, the bitch, stops mid-sentence and turns to look at you. She doesn't say anything, and after a second turns back to Hansen, who seems to move closer towards... She moves closer towards, dropping her voice and carrying on her discussion. After a few moments, Hansen rolls his eyes and pushes off the hangar ceiling, floating past you and into the open cockpit of the Juno. Look at that! This guy despises us. He hates us. He literally puts all of his trauma over the final battle of the, last war onto us. Okay, he takes his trauma and he puts it onto us. He blames us for everything that went wrong. This woman is such a horrendous bitch that he doesn't even care that that we're here right now. It's not on his mind. His mind is getting away from her as quickly as possible. Think about that for a moment. Look at him! She's broken him! I feel sorry for this man! Ensign Cross, ready for departure. Oh. He states lazily before disappearing into the armored frame just as Vanessa arrives, having followed him towards the machine. Well done for making it on time, Lieutenant. Even when you're complimenting me, you sound like a horrendous person. I'm glad you could join us. Have you got everything you need for the mission? I don't see you carrying a PSC or a guide from Chief on removing the O'Brien black box, didn't you? Oh, fuck. No, she's right here. Honestly, I thought we were gonna get that all here, but it looks like we do. Hey, Lieutenant! The Chief's loud call comes from the hangar entrance, and you see her heading towards you with a large off-white object under one arm and a manila folder in her hand. As she's halfway across the lawn, she launches the object at you. Although you manage to grab it with your free hand, its momentum pushes you back into the armored frame and you hit it with more force than you'd expect. It takes you a second to recover, but once you do, you realize that the Chief's just pitched a briefcase-sized portable computer at you, the PSD. You got a portable sub-terminal. Doo-doo-doo-doo! By the time you're able to find its handle and get a grip on it, the Chief arrives at the Juno and holds onto the machine. I had to grab the one you'd left in engineering. I've charged it up, but these devices get pretty thirsty, so it took a while. Ahem. And here's the instructions for removing the black box. The O'Brien are swift like the gun dog, so there shouldn't be any difficulty in procedure as long as you follow this to the letter. Ahem! Ignoring Vanessa, the Chief proffers the manila folder containing a few sheets of paper. You're in her world now, okay? Cue the fucking Keith David song from Princess and the Frog. You're in my world now. Rearranging your hold. Wait. Oh, rearranging your hold on your helmet, the PSD, and your grip on the armored frame. You just about managed to take the folder from her. Like box guide. Ahem! You glance back at Vanessa, who hovers behind you, an increasingly deep scowl forming on her face. Before you have the opportunity to acknowledge the lieutenant, the chief lays a hand heavily on your shoulder, returning your attention to her and almost making you drop the folder. Don't forget, Lieutenant, the PSD needs to access verification to open the doors, so your ID won't work on the O'Brien because you've not been assigned to it. You'll need to use the ID of one of the O'Brien's crew to get anything working. Alright, thanks for the heads up, Chief. If that's the case, oh fucking hell, it's still me. If that's the case, would you mind hanging on to these until I get back? Sure thing, Lieutenant. Anyway, I've got engines to be reactivating. Although I've already queued up the startup reaction, so now Chief Engineering Cathays. Right, we both got things to be getting on with. Good luck out there, Lieutenant. With a final pat on your shoulder, the Chief launches herself off the armored frame and back towards the hangar entrance. Chief Engineer Cathay! It's not your world anymore, little girl. Know your place. Stay in your lane. Vanessa yells, what's using you to pull herself forwards, her lower lip quivering with anger as she watches the Chief pass over the guardrail towards the stairwell leading out the hangar. Although she remains silent, you can see the rage building in Vanessa. Good. Her slight frame seeming as if it could explode any second. As subtly as possible, you attempt to make your way to the Juno's cockpit without attracting her attention. You've already noticed that Dalton has disappeared from view, and you hope to achieve the same thing before the lieutenant can direct her scorn at you. Unfortunately, as you lower yourself into the Juno's cockpit, the casing of the PSD strikes the armored frame's surface, resulting in a loud clang that reverberates through the empty space of the hangar. Going somewhere, Lieutenant? Yeah, I'm going to do my mission. You know, I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. In the words of Marky Mark, let's just go full Bostonian on this woman. No respect. She shows us no respect, we show no respect to her. Your mind races as you try to come up with a good way to extricate your way from the situation. The concept of getting into another fight with Vanessa right now is somehow even worse than the thought of sharing a cramped cockpit with Hansen. Lieutenant Vesper, heading out. Good luck with commanding the mission, ma'am. You are now throwing the best salute you can manage considering how full your hands are. Get out of here, Lieutenant. Vanessa hisses, turning back into a snake. I mean, turning back to you and launching herself off the armored frame and towards the hangar entrance. Watching her float away, you breathe a sigh of relief, thankful that you managed to avoid another conflict with her. Turning towards the cockpit entrance, you make your way inside, pulling the lever closed and the hatch behind you. With the hatch closed, all you can hear is a gentle hum of the frame subsystems. Once inside, your eyes quickly adjust to the low light, with only the source of illumination being the occasional backlit dial or readout. Are we in the same armored frame as like Hansen right now? Because like it's kind of weird that we didn't mention him. Do we have like a twin seat like in Char's counterattack? We just have another seat on like stapled to the back of like the pilot seat. You pause for a moment and grit your teeth. This was the first time in years that you'd been inside a cockpit of an armored frame. I'm thinking we're in a separate. I think we're both taking our own frames over, one each. It might be a newer model, but it was pretty much exactly how you remembered. Snapping back to the present, you do your best to head off the thoughts that you know will follow your reminiscing by taking a look around the cockpit to see where you would be sitting. Although the majority of the Juno's cockpit is taken up by the pilot seat, which sits in the center, mounted on the series of shock absorbers, there is a space on the other side which allows for an addition of a temporary passenger seat to be mounted on the pilots. Sure enough, Dalton has attached this fixture onto the right-hand side of the seat currently occupied by Hansen. Okay, so, wait, they're just sitting next to each other? Okay, weird. I guess it's like a one-year war cockpit. There's just a lot of room in here. You stash the PSC and the file the chief gave you at the rear of the cockpit. Once they're out of your hands, you pull on your helmet, fastening your suit's pilot seals, and then strapping yourself into the passenger seat. Whilst you do up your buckles, you look across at Hansen, who you realize hasn't said a single thing since you entered the cockpit. You'd been too preoccupied getting away from Vanessa to notice, but now that you're actually paying attention to the ensign, you see that his chest is rapidly rising and falling with every breath. On top of that, his hands both grasp the flight sticks, squeeze them tightly, and release them. A motion he repeats over and over again. Looks like we're not the only one with PTSD, boys! Despite the fact that you're looking right at him, he hasn't noticed you. Instead, his focus seems purely on the monitor in front of him. Ensign Cross? Are you okay? There's a slight delay, but a second after you ask, Hansen releases his grip on the flight sticks and turns to face you. The intense expression he just had suddenly replaced with his normal countenance. What? I was just asking if you were okay. Guess I'm okay. What are you talking about? We're not all cowards like you who can't even launch in AF. You take a deep breath in and exhale slowly as you look away. You weren't sure what you'd been expecting, but at least Hansen seemed like his normal self. Thankfully, any follow-up from him is cut off by Vanessa's face appearing on the comms screen and her voice on the frame speakers. Oh! You look even worse on camera, honey! Gundog 1... This is I wish I had a vocal distorter. Damn it, so I could do a radio effect. Gundog 1, this is Lieutenant Lord. It is 16:30 Jovian Standard, and the mission has begun. Please confirm you're ready for launch. Copy that, Lieutenant Lord. This is Ensign Cross of Gundog 1. All systems ready for launch and waiting for authorization. Understood. Authority granted. Stand by whilst you're transported for takeoff. Although the Juno's monitors haven't turned on yet, you can tell that the reverberations you feel are coming from it being lowered from the hangar and out from the underside of the ship. Activating all systems. Now. Look at that. What is that? 240p? Oh my god. What advances in the future, chat. That picture quality. You don't get that in, in civilian markets. All at once the monitors come to life, illuminating you and Hansen with their glow. Gundog 1 ready. Gundog 1 releasing restraints. Gundog 1 launching. We're just gonna give him a southern accent because I can at least keep that consistent for him. Once the armored frame is free of its restraints, Hansen slams the flight sticks forward in unison, sending the Juno hurtling away from the Gundog and causing it to shake with the acceleration. Hi, Philo. As the cockpit shudders, you consciously grab onto the straps, keeping you in the passenger seat, and squeeze them tightly. With the frame continuing to accelerate, you do your best to keep a neutral expression, but despite this, Hansen looks across to you and notices your grim appearance. What's the matter, Lieutenant? Feeling flat sick already? No, You lie. I'm a dirty liar, chat. Sure, just sit back and watch how a real pilot handles an armored frame. Although you'd thought Hansen had launched at minimum thrust, he slowly manages to find an extra maximum thrust, an extra burst of acceleration, causing the cockpit to shake further, doing nothing to help the nausea you feel. If you throw up, sir, your helmet stays on. Eventually, Hansen eases up on the acceleration and the juddering stops. Although you're still slightly nauseous, you slowly begin to feel less like the little food you've had time for today will be reappearing inside your helmet. As the Juno continues to cruise forward, you and Hansen both sit in the near silence of the cockpit. With no real indication of distance between you and the O'Brien or the speed you're traveling, it's difficult for you to keep track of time, and the journey drags on. We're 300 kilometers away. God, I wonder how fast one of these can even go. There's no way for you to exact, but it feels like at least half an hour has passed with neither of you saying so much as a word. Now that's I like that shot. That's a nice, like, I don't know why the cockpit has has a passenger seat. We look like a bit like a nerd, I'm gonna be honest. Not because the suits looks great, but like, we're just sitting, like, let's see here, we're this guy, this is us. We look a bit like a nerd. We're just kind of sitting there with our elbows in, like, oh, I don't want to be here. To be fair, we don't want to be there. I wonder why there is a side, I wonder why there is like a side seat. Is it for a gunner? But maybe it's just for situations like this. Maybe it can just move seats around. Ooh, maybe it just has extra space to move seats around. Maybe it's a temporary feature. Eventually, the oppressive silence coupled with your increasing desperate desire for distraction forces you to think about something you'd never thought you'd do. Willingly start a conversation with Hansen. Oh, the horror. Oh, I didn't know this game was a horror game. You doing okay there, Gunner? He is dead to the world. He is so asleep. I'm talking right at him. He doesn't care. He's completely zonked out. He's dead to the world. He's like in one of those like little like real scrunched up balls. He's like in a little doggy fetal position. You know, his back feet are like at his jaw. His hands are like crested over like he's a little vampire over his feet that are like, you know, tickling his snout. Kind of a weird position, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Haru? Isn't that like the little robots in Gundam? That is Maverick. Let's ask about the Gundog. So you start before trailing off quickly as Hansen doesn't acknowledge you at all. How long have you been on the Gundog? Hansen gives you the briefest flicker of acknowledgement, but doesn't take his eyes off the main monitor. You know, the fact that he's on the Gundog is kind of indicative of a lot, actually, thinking about it. That maybe he's not himself capable of active operations as much as he might make himself appear to be. That maybe he's here because he can't actually go into active combat or more serious roles. That this is a little bit of after a psych eval. He might have been placed here, just saying. What? I was just asking, how long have you been stationed on the Gundog? Why? You're only seconds into the conversation and it's already one you're beginning to regret. I just, you know, thought I'd ask. I heard people talking about your piloting, and yeah, well, people can say whatever they like about my piloting. It doesn't make a difference because I've been stuck on this joke of a ship for a year. Not that it matters. Every other pilot in the JCF is doing nothing but drills right now, so who cares where I am? A fresh, uncomfortable silence hangs in the air between the two of you as you mentally scramble for a response. So, oh, he turned his head. I did not see that coming. So, what are you doing on this ship anyway? How'd you screw up? How did you screw up? I got a girlfriend. Big mistake, chat. Your first instinct is to fire back that you aren't a screw-up like him, but you know you can't admit that Cassie had your transfer put through as a favor without the risk of getting back to Vanessa. I didn't screw anything up, I just got transferred here for short notice to fill a role, that's all. Whatever, sir. You don't get dumped on the gun dog unless you've screwed up or are defective. So, what was it? He's defective, chat. That was a little bit of a self-admittance from him that he has trauma too. We're gonna connect through him over the course of the story. Real, you know, man-to-man stuff, okay? Neither. No, we screwed up by having a defective girlfriend is what happened. Oh, Gunner. You awake? Did you wake up just to do a little stretch before going back to sleep there, buddy? Yeah, sure. Haru. Haru, how long have you known Haru? You mean Maverick? What are you asking? I'm just asking how long you've known Haru. Why, are you into that? What? I have a girlfriend, dude. I was only asked. Oh man, I can't believe you're into Haru. You're gonna love this. I'm not. I have a girlfriend. What are you talking about? Does Quinn know? What the fuck? Ensign! Oh man, maybe she does. Maybe that's why you're asking. Damn, no wonder you're asking. I knew you two were both freaks. You think if we're planning a menage a trois, whatever. I don't speak French. I don't speak surrender, monkey. Anyways, just shut up, Ensign. Leave. Oh, I thought it said leave, not leave it. So it's just like, leave. Just open up the cockpit, leave the fucking thing, float back. Just float back to the gun dog. I'm done here. As the two of you continue your flight towards the O'Brien, the quietness of the Juno's cockpit adds to the sense of tension you feel between yourself and Hansen. Despite not engaging with or even acknowledging you, you can't help but feel a sense of pressure. Hansen's simple presence continues to put you on edge. You mull over a few potential topics for conversation, but you can't come up with anything that won't sound weird or forced. Eventually, you resign yourself to the fact that the rest of the journey will just have to continue on its way as long as it takes. You shift your seat and adjust one of your belts slightly. With a sigh, you make yourself as comfortable as you can, settling in on the silence. I'd probably fall asleep, I'm gonna be honest. If I am in the passenger seat for anywhere over half an hour, I'm just dead to the world. I fall asleep immediately at that point. It's like fast travel, chat, okay? If I'm not the one traveling, every journey is fast travel. I just fall asleep, and when we get there, I wake up and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm ready to face anything that we're about to do. It's amazing. If I am driving, having vehicular narcolepsy isn't the best thing, but as long as I'm not driving, vehicular narcolepsy is amazing. Not so great when driving. With no other sounds beyond the almost imperceptible background noise of the cockpit and the Juno's monitor showing nothing but stars, your mind drifts bouncing through thought to thought. Actually, that's a good point that the game makes. We won't really be able to see the O'Brien because it's just going to be a black ship in black space. It's gonna be fucking invisible until we're right up to it. Gives you a headache? Ooh. For me, I can't read in a car because, like, you're focusing on, like, you know, reading. In a car, you have to look down and keep focused on one position, but then the inner ear is like, you're moving, you're moving, you're moving. It kind of depends how good the driver is, admittedly. Sadly, everyone who I usually drive with, being my family for the most part, are all very jerky drivers. By which I mean not that they're jerks, but they like jerk the wheel and whatnot a lot. Means that like trying to read in the car is just a one-way trick to having motion sickness. But for sleeping, I can pull that off pretty well. Ooh. Aside to hear, you know, that sleeping for some reason gives you a headache when you sleep in a car. Ooh. The warmth of the cockpit and the gentle vibrations caused by the shuddering of the Juno's engines cause your thoughts to idle and slow. Eventually, without realizing it, you begin to drift off to sleep. Oh! He's just like me for real, for real. You're almost completely gone when both you and Hansen stir upright and fix your attention on the main monitor. Although there's nothing to see beyond the stars and the visual indicator, you know that this means the O'Brien is close by. We're here. Hansen mutters to himself as he begins to flick switches on the control panel and to his side. You watch silently as he works the pedals and flight sticks to reduce the Juno speed. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock on the objective. I repeat, this is Gundog 1 and we got target to lock the objective. Oh shit. Hansen scowls at the communication screen as it returns nothing but static, an indication that it hasn't picked up anything in any incoming signal. Well, that means we don't have to care about Vanessa. We're on our own. Oh no. Oh, the humanity. Oh no. He quickly resets the switches on the control panel before activating them again. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock on objective. Do you read? Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Piece of junk. His foot strikes the panel underneath the main monitor, causing it to flicker momentarily, but doing nothing to help obtain a signal. Oh, that's what the ship looks like in full. It is a set of engines with a ship attached. I like that. With the O'Brien now visible on the screen, you remain silent as Hansen continues to deactivate and reactivate Juno's transmission system. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock on the objective. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We have target lock. God damn it, Lord! Where the hell are you? Hello! Hello! This time, Hansen's fist strikes the main monitor. Thankfully for both you and the reinforced glass of the screen remains undamaged. Ooh, got my hand. You move as far away from Hansen as the restraints of your temporary seat will allow, pussy. You always knew he was a hot-headed, but you didn't make this any easier to deal with. Let's try to calm him down. Let's try it. Hansen continues to attempt to re-establish contact with the Gundog. Each time he does, his efforts are met with the same familiar static. Come on, what's wrong with this piece of junk? Gundog, come in. Ugh. Come on, take it easy. You tell him, holding both your hands up, palms forward in a placating gesture. Don't you tell me what to do in my frame, Vespa. Hansen snaps back, continuing to flip switches and occasionally strike the controls. Ensign, that's not going to do any good. Yeah? What do you know? You can barely contain the long, exasperated sigh you feel building inside you, but you manage not to express it, knowing it will just set Hansen off more. Instead, you tell him you remember the chief telling you earlier. Before all this started, Chief said she was having problems with the long-range communication system. It was causing issues with our transmissions to the O'Brien as well as the targeting systems. It's probably not fixed yet, might have even been made worse when the power went out. So what? We're out here with no mission control, thank God. You pause, crossing your arms and shrugging. Let's be honest, what would Vanessa really have done? Let's just be honest for a moment. You know, what would she have done? Bitch at us, complain, take credit for what we've done? She's probably still gonna do the last one anyways. I guess so. Yeah, of course. Can't expect anything to go to plan when that ship's involved. This is Gundog 1, in case anyone out there can actually hear us. We are approaching the JFS O'Brien. We are carrying out a visual inspection of the O'Brien now. I'm kind of wondering what's going on right here. Because I thought that was more engine. Actually, that's weird. I don't know, we're going to touch upon something right now. This is actually poor ship design. We're going to talk about this. Now, if the ship is looking forward, it can fire both guns, which is good because that's its smallest profile envelope. However, what you would want instead is to have this area right here slightly lower than this area. Actually, take this right here. This, like, raised section, which I guess is the medical bay or something, which is weird. Because this would be the whole of the ship. This would be the bridge. So this is the medical bay, really exposed, really weird design. What you do is you take this section and you pull it out, therefore providing extra armor to whatever the hell is going on right here. And then you have it stop, and then you put one of the guns on that, right? And then you have the other gun on the nose, and then you have both guns able to fire. You have the back gun able to fire over top the front gun, allowing for, you know, unimpeded firing forward. However, if you have enemies to your side, you can still move the guns to fire at your side, okay? Very simple shit. You might be like, what if there's no way to fire at the back? Honestly, I don't even know if these guns can fire at the back. Look how far back they go. If they tried to spin, unless their point of rotation is right here, they won't be able to move regardless. If their point of rotation is anything for like center of mass, they're not going to be able to spin to shoot anything at the side or go like rotate behind to shoot anything anyways. Terrible design. Not gonna lie, okay? Ooh, very realistic. Lowest bidder. I really like ship design. if that was not obvious. I like the aesthetics. I just don't like the gun placement. Gun placement is often underappreciated in ship design. With the O'Brien now close enough for you to actually make out its finer details, Hansen decelerates the frame, bringing it nearly to a complete stop. Deftly adjusting the Juno's orientation, he then begins to circle the Swift-class ship, and the two of you focus on the monitor, trying to identify anything out of the ordinary on the O'Brien before you get closer. Wait a second, is that? You point to the O'Brien main airlock, and Hansen quickly sets the camera to zoom in. It's open. Oh, that's bad. Both doors are open. Oh, wait. I think both doors are open. Unless that's a glass window, but wide open. Looks like someone's tried the same stunt as you. Wide open. Looks like somebody tried the same stunt as you. No, that's not it. I closed the secondary airlock before, behind me. Both those are open, which means the ship must be completely depressurized. Well, no, it just means the main hull is. The medical bay and the, presumably, like, each door could pressurize, right? So it wouldn't mean the entire ship is unpressurized. It just means that the main hull is unpressurized, which means that they have less oxygen, meaning they're certainly dead. But, you know, whatever. The only thing worth about Starfield is the ship design. It's not the... Wait. That's the Bethesda one, right? I know the gun design isn't worth a damn in that game. The gun design is so ugly. I don't know why Bethesda feels just this need to make every gun in their games ugly. You had Fallout, which like most of the guns in Fallout were either sci-fi guns, which were like not really based on reality and like whatever, it doesn't matter. But like any gun that wasn't sci-fi was just like based off of like real guns. They like looked like a Kalashnikov or just a normal pistol, and they looked nice, you know, to have this post-apocalypse with just like real guns. Then you'd have the sci-fi guns, and then they're like, oh, here's Fallout 4, and all the guns are just ugly as sin. Like they redesigned every gun, and it's like, why did you redesign every gun to look so ugly? And then Starfield has like, you put, there's like a shotgun, I think, where you put round rounds, which isn't like weird, you know, like most rounds are round, like most ammunition is round, but it comes out of like a square barrel, and you're like, what the fuck? But then you have like, then there's other guns that have square like ammunition that have square ammunition that come out of round barrels, and it's just like they weren't even paying attention to like like how does that happen? Were you not paying attention to your own design? And the appearance of the guns, I think Fallout 4 has uglier guns still, because I can remember how ugly some of the guns in Fallout 4 are, but like Starfield has some ugly fucking guns, don't get me wrong. But they're kind of like generic sci-fi ugly guns. They're not whatever the hell's going on in like the ugliest guns in Fallout. The ugliest guns in Fallout are just, they're uniquely ugly. Like I've seen ugly sci-fi guns dime a dozen is what a lot of, not all, some of them are uniquely ugly in Starfield, but most of them are just dime a dozen ugly sci-fi guns that make no sense. But Fallout 4, what the heck were you thinking? Anyways, enough with that tangent. The two of you sit in silence, both considering what you just found out. The same thing had happened to the O'Brien. As a gundog and someone had opened both airlocks, then what little breathable air was left on the ship would have been sucked into space. We've still got a mission to do. Come on. You nod silently in agreement as Hansen, apparently sobered by that realization, moves the armored frame towards the airlock. This isn't necessarily the end to, you think. If some of the crew were lucky, they might have been able to get their spacesuits on before they ran out of air. They'd be running low on oxygen by now, but... This is Gundog 1 docking with O'Brien. Now only meters away from the other ship, Hansen brings the Juno to a complete stop, with a surprising amount of delicacy as it reach out with one arm. Delicacy has it reach out. Okay, I was reading that wrong. I read has as, that's why I was getting so confused. Grabbing hold of the protrusion from the ship and anchoring itself. All right, let's go. In a well-practiced motion, Hansen releases himself from the seat's harness, moves forward, and grabs the lever to open the cockpit. You don't want to, like, you know, purge the air or nothing first? Cool. As soon as it's open, you feel a rush of the cockpit's air escaping. What did I just say? Called it. Dumbass forgot to purge the air. And yes, they would be able to purge the air inside of a cockpit before opening it with a ship like this. I don't care how lowest bidder it is. Meanwhile, Hansen pulls himself out and steps into the airlock. Having a slightly harder time with the straps on your harness, it takes you a few moments longer to release yourself. That's probably why he's on the Gundog. He's wasting precious oxygen. That shit's really important in space. Even if you can recycle the oxygen, that shit's important. Every ounce of it counts. You do not just let an entire cabin of oxygen just go into space, you fucking idiot. Sorry. Having slightly harder time with the straps on your harness, it takes you a few moments longer to release yourself. Once free, you gather up the PSD and the instructions the chief had given you before making your own way out of the Juno. The two of you tentatively make your way from the airlock itself through to the room. Although nothing is obviously broken. I do like when you're in space or in vacuum, there's just nothing. There's just no sound. It's obviously broken or wrong. The fact that you're standing in an area identical to the one the gun dog, but to space and completely uninhabitable sends the shiver down your spine. Why are you looking at me like that, bro? God, is that this? Oh, that's actually a nice symbol on his forehead. That's Jupiter. This right here is Jupiter, and these are the Jovian moons. Ooh, hence why it's called. Actually, wait, no, the Galilean moons. I think these are the 4 biggest moons of Jupiter. So these would be like Io, Europa, Ganymede, I guess, and Titan. No, Titan's Saturn, isn't it? I think Ganymede is, yeah, Titan is definitely Saturn. It's the moon of Saturn. Ganymede sounds like a woman's name, so it's probably Jupiter, because the moons of Jupiter are named after, you know, all the women he had an affair with, until we ran out of those, and we started, like, naming them Puck and whatnot, because we're like, well, we have no more of those, you know? Jupiter has so many moons that we ran out of, like, women that Zeus had adulterous relationships with, which is a fancy way to say that there's a lot of moons, because that man, every other Greek story is like, and then Zeus, or in this case Jupiter for Rome, and then Jupiter had another affair. That's like half of all like Greek and Roman mythology. It's amazing. You look at Hansen and see him mouthing something that you can't hear. You continue to stand there, confused, as you realize you forgot to turn on your comms, you moron. Gestures at you until you look exasperated. It takes you a moment, but you realize what's going on, and you reach for the radio on your chest panel, flicking the switch that activates it. God, he looks like a douche in that picture. Look at him. Why did you make him look like such a... We have him right here. He does not look like this much of a douche here. It's about time you figure that out, sir. Hansen's voice crackles over your helmet speaker. Unlike the Juno, where the cockpit was pressurized so you could hear each other, you now find yourself standing in a complete vacuum where no sound can travel. So what's the plan? You turn to survey the empty void of the airlock. The first priority given by the captain was assisting the crew of the O'Brien to get their ship back online, but judging by the current state of things, you weren't sure you'd have much luck with that. He's dreaming. The puppy's dreaming, chat. The plan. You say to yourself more than to Hansen as you go over the current situation in your mind. That's right, Lieutenant, the plan. Right now, you've got rank, so without Lord screeching down our comms line... To say down our comms, like, this is on you, unless you're after a trip down memory lane and want to sit in Juno's cockpit whilst I do everything. A mix of shame and anger swells inside you as you bite your tongue and need to sneeze. And I bit my tongue when I sneezed. Wonderful. Ah. Hopefully that doesn't swell. As you bite your tongue. Damn. I should have kept on reading. I would have been warned about my mistake. Oh, God. It would have been foreshadowing. Do not snap at Hansen with the first thing that comes to mind. Stow it, Ensign. Despite the way he said it, he wasn't wrong. With nothing coming from the Gundog, you were now the highest ranking officer involved with the mission. Alright, the first priority was to assist the crew. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be in this part of the ship, but we still need to try. Since I've used the PSC before, it's going to be easier for me to carry out the search. Whilst I'm doing that, you can start removing the ship's black box. You hold up the manila folder that the chief had given you on the Gundog, and Hansen takes it from you and clumsily flicker... Damn it. Sorry about that. Flicking through it with his gloved hands. It's on the bridge, huh? Well, how are we going to get up there? There's a maintenance elevator. Maintenance ladder. Same way I did on the Gundog. Come on. You turn around and head into the ship, eventually arriving in the central hub. Okay then, Lieutenant. Now what? As you walk past Hansen, you where the maintenance hatch is located. Next to the elevators, you take the opportunity to quickly switch your radio off, tell Hansen exactly what he can do next, then switch it back on. Wait, what? Elevators, you take the opportunity to quickly switch your radio off. Oh, so I'm a bitch. I had to reread that as being a bitch. Okay. What's next, Ensign, is this. You run your fingers down the seam between the panel and the wall and quickly find the catch inside. Sorry, unlike the one on the bridge, you're able to fit your suit's fingers into this one, and you quickly release it. As a hatch comes away, your hand, as a hatch comes away in your hands, you wait to feel the sensation of air rushing out of the crawlway. Unfortunately, you feel nothing, confirming one of the fears you had about the ship and her crew. Placing the hatch down, you turn to Hansen, saying nothing about your discovery and instead gesturing to the ladder. So there's no air anywhere, it sounds like. At the top of the ladder, you'll find another panel like this one that leads into the bridge. To release it, all you need to do is push the catch from the inside. Think you can handle that? What do you think, Lieutenant? You're not dealing with some dumb security officer here or anything. Let a pilot show you how it's done. With a swagger that's only exaggerated by the bulk of his suit, Hansen strides past you, steps into the access tunnel, and heads up the ladder. You take the opportunity to turn your radio off again and tell him that you're a bitch. Once you're done, you switch it back on in case he sends any transmissions. Now that you've set him to work, it's up to you to try and find any survivors of the O'Brien's crew and use their help to get the ship back online. You look around the empty central hub, and the same silence that previously filled the Gundog now is filling your helmet. After a moment of contemplation, you head towards the first place you think it may be fruitful to explore. Yeah. Aft thoroughfare. As you move to the central hub towards the darkness of the aft thoroughfare, a movement catches your eye. You stop to peer into the darkness ahead of you and catch sight of a silhouette in the distance. Oh! Nice cyberpunk design. Who's there? I'm from the Gundog. You call out using your radio and to broadcast yourself. We're here to help. Come back. As the figure vanishes into the gloom. So it looked human. It looked human, at least. You dash after, eventually arriving at the end of the long corridor that makes up the aft thoroughfare. Having headed past the armory, you move... The armory's right there, though. You move towards the end of the corridor, a dead end when considering the doors to the engineering department are sealed. Did I just imagine seeing it? No, I saw something. You turn around trying to see if you would miss something, but with no signs of life here aside from yourself, you begin to doubt that you saw anything at all. This mission must be getting to me. Better get this over with before doing anything else. Ooh. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Just like, oh, wait, no, I need a key card. Fuck. So I'm not gonna be able to do anything. Shit. Just like you had seen in the Gundog a few hours earlier, where the aft thoroughfare should have featured an engineering department, instead there's a gigantic blast door. From experience crawling underneath one of these, you knew that there was no way you could ever hope to move it manually. On top of that, there was no point attempting to open it before you had the emergency access codes. With the battery power the door took to open, you'd probably shut yourself in the engineering with no way of getting back out. Before that, though, you'd need a keycard belonging to one of the crew. As it was, you had no hope of even opening it, whether that was pointless or otherwise. You turn back and move away from the door, making your way back to the aft thoroughfare. Hello, Neon. We are on board the O'Brien right now. We have saved our ship, the Gundog, and we are now on the O'Brien, but when we arrived, we found that there's no air, so probably everyone's dead. Ooh. And we're kind of just right now exploring, at this point, a ghost ship. And we need to get the access key so we can access the rest of the ship. Ooh. So let's move to Foreside Thoroughfare. Crew Quarters 1. Bracing yourself with your left hand against the wall by the entrance to your quarters. By the entrance to your quarters, you bring your right hand down and a fist against the door. I didn't say your quarters. You continue to pound your fist again and yielding entryway, hoping that if there's anyone in there, they have enough air, they'll be able to hear you respond. Yeah, we'll be fine, don't worry. We just saw like a cyberpunk assassin earlier. I think that was like right before you got here. We saw like a cyberpunk assassin. Air's nothing, don't worry about it. After a few seconds, very 90s in its design. After a few seconds of pounding, you press your helmet against the door, hoping that you can pick up the vibrations of something returning your signal. You're met with nothing but silence. You stand back and hammer on the door harder this time. After the fist begins to ache, you press your helmet back against the door's paneling, holding your breath and listening out of any signs of activity. With no signs of life, you dejectedly step back, giving the door one final slam with your fist and cursing the silence. Foreside Thoroughfare, Crew Quarters 2. Move to Captain's Quarters. You approach the Captain's Quarters at the end of the corridor and see the same Jovian insignia as the one the Captain Bartolomew's door. Below it is a nameplate which proudly presents the O'Brien's captain in his full name, Paul Henry Gerard. I don't know what that's. I don't know who that's supposed to be. Ooh. Hello, cheap viewers. Piss off, robot. Piss off, android. You dream of nothing. No electric sheep or nothing, you bot. As with all the other locked doors you'd encountered so far, you begin by bracing yourself before hammering on the door with your fist. After a few seconds, Paul Henry Gerard. I'm not putting it together. I'm not putting together the reference. After a few seconds of this, you then lean and listen to any response. After hearing nothing, you repeat the process a few more times, stopping only when the dull ache in your wrist becomes uncomfortable. At the time of the blackout, if everything was going to plan, then Captain Maris should have been on the bridge of the Gundog, not Cassie. Maybe that's where the situation here. You spend a few more seconds thinking about other optimistic scenarios before turning away and heading back into the corridor, not giving your mind the opportunity to shift towards the more negative possibilities. For all our sakes, Captain, I hope you're not in here. Let's check. Standing in front of the door, that the Gundog would be entrance to Cassie's quarters. Oh, that would have been the... Okay, I see. You begin to feel a bit uneasy. You've been doing your best not to think about how, aside from... So we've checked the security chief's quarters, now we're checking the XO's quarters. And we just checked the captain's quarters with Henry. You've been doing your best not to think about how, aside from some lucky coincidences, this could have been happened to the Gundog instead of the O'Brien. Despite your best efforts, you keep that thought out of your mind. You can't help but dwell on it, seeing a door that could have been Cassie's. Who spends their free time on the other side of this door? Is it as much a mess as Cassie's room? How close were the two of you from having this happen to you? Now's not the time for that. You remind yourself stating it out loud to force the thoughts away. With your focus back on the task at hand, you repeat the process you'd been using to check for signs of life or crew activity. Unfortunately, you get nothing back. Okay. Riverside Thoroughfare. Crew Fire Control, Central Hub. Given the time when your Gundog and presumably O'Brien had blacked out, you knew there shouldn't have been anyone in the mess hall. Despite this, you also knew that it wasn't uncommon for crew members to disappear from stations briefly to grab quick pick-me-ups or treats, especially if their duty was quiet. And especially if that crew member's name was Cassandra Quinn. You go through the routine of hammering on the door, waiting for a response, and continuing to batter it with your fist just in case you hadn't... Okay, so... Despite your best efforts, you don't manage to hear a response. You exhale slowly as you look to the door of the Brian Fire Control and Gundog Dylan. Had been music to keep... With this thought in mind, you carry out the process of hammering down the door, resting your helmet, and waiting for a response. But all you get is silence in return. After a few attempts where you hear nothing coming from the room beyond, you step back, mentally crossing this room from your list of potential havens on board. Hangar. As you make your way through the gloom, there are suits in the hangar, so if we're gonna find anyone, it will be in the hangar, I think. Ooh, we're probably gonna have to go up to the bridge, as annoying as that is. Ooh. As you make your way through the gloom of the Thoroughside Thoroughfare, you almost absentmindedly knock on a low-gravity warning sign just before the double doors that lead into the ship's hangar. Placing the portable subterminal by your feet, you hammer on the doors with your fist, hopeful that if anyone's in there, they'll hear you signal and reciprocate in kind. After around 10 seconds of this, you stop and press your helmet against the door. If there is any noise in there, the vibration should travel through the door and into your helmet, allowing you to hear it. I guess not. There's... Can you hear me? Hey! You call out, resuming your hammering of the door when you get no response. Whoever's in there, we're from the JFS Gundog. We're here to rescue you. Can you hear me? There's definitely someone in there. Although you're still not getting an obvious response, the knowledge that someone is in there fills you with a sense of urgency, and you hurriedly set your suit's radio to broadcast. This is Lieutenant Merrick Vesper of the JFS Gundog. We're here to provide assistance to any crew of the JFS O'Brien. That's a wonderful sound. I repeat, this is Lieutenant Vesper of the JFS Gundog. We're here to provide assistance to any crew of the JFS O'Brien. Come on! You slam your fist into the hangar door one more time, despite the signs that someone was still alive there. With no way to get into the hangar and no response on the radio, you feel like you may as well be a million miles away from them. Picking up the portable sub-terminal, you look from one end of the Forsyth Thoroughfare to another. The presence of a survivor made you need to find a keyguard belonging to a member of the crew all the more urgent. Hmm. Being able to see the stars like this from this position, you couldn't help but feel uncomfortable. The light, as gentle as it is, feels like a forced intrusion on this room, somewhere there should never be illuminated. You spend a few more moments gazing out of the airlock before you shake your head clear of your thoughts. If there was any hope of the O'Brien's crew, it was that you'd act fast, and stargazing was not helping anyone. We're here to help, but don't worry if you die. We have Phoenix Downs. Okay. Ooh. Okay, just open up. Can you please open up this door and let out all the air that you're using to survive? Okay, I know there's not a lot left, but you know, you have a spacesuit in there. You're in the hangar. So just, you know, just put on that spacesuit and that'll be good enough. We have a spacesuit in here that can hold 2 people. So we're just gonna have to leave you here to die regardless. You reach out into the maintenance crawlway and grab a rung on the ladder. Stepping forward, you place your feet onto another rung that you can barely see. And then instead of following Hansen up, you start moving downwards. As you descend the crawlway, eventually it becomes completely dark. The only indication that you're given that you've reached the bottom is when you bring your foot down and you unexpectedly stomp on the floor panel. Now at the bottom of the shaft, you grope around in the darkness looking for a catch that will release the panel by elevator into the sickbay. After a few minutes of sliding, palms around blindly, the suit glove catches on. You investigate it with your fingertips and confirm it's what you're looking for before releasing it, grabbing the panel as it falls away and placing it to the side as you step through into the sickbay. That's a dead person. And it's a lady. Ooh, wait, oh, that's like... shit happened here. Look at all those bags of potato chips. What a shame. With no rush of air to indicate that you'd be depressurizing the room, you were almost entirely certain you knew what to expect, but what you find goes beyond that. Bruh? Behind the desk, set to meet those who enter the sickbay, you see the crumbled form of someone wearing a white coat, much like Dr. Rosarium's. You quickly make your way over to them, but as you do, you stop momentarily as you feel something crunching underneath your boots. Looking around, you can see that the doctor is surrounded by broken glass. Taking stock of the room, you realize that the cabinets at the far end of the sickbay are all still locked, but the glass panels have been shattered and their contents scattered. Instead of trying to puzzle out what's happened, you turn your attention to the doctor, kneeling down by them and gently turning them over. You're faced with a woman who seems to be her mid-50s, her sandy hair done up, in a loose bun with errant strands tucked behind her ears. You notice that of the 2 lenses set into her round wire-frame spectacles, one is cracked and the frame sits askew on her face. No, Rosarium, not Rosarian. We're gonna need more morphine. I don't think that's gonna help her. I think she's dead. We're gonna need that mushroom from Common Side Effects. You know, maybe that'll bring her back from the dead. I don't really know how long... That stuff can literally bring people back from a near-death state, but I don't know what's the limits of it. I'm gonna assume, like, you know, once you start decaying, it's done, but, like, if you get your neck snapped, that stuff can bring you back to life. Although her pale blue eyes, oh, and that's not a spoiler, by the way. In the first episode, he literally grabs a pigeon and snaps its neck, then uses the mushroom to bring it back to life. Although her pale blue eyes are wide open and staring at you, they won't move. Whoop. And she does not blink. Her skin is pallid, matching the cool blue of her eyes. The striking red of her lipstick standing out in a dramatic contrast. I'm not a doctor, but morphine's really good at shutting people up. I think that might be a crime, Neon. You might not want to admit that live on stream. You stay holding the doctor for a moment before gently laying her down, and with as much delicacy as you can manage in your bulky spacesuit, you close her eyes as you stand up and exhale deeply. Although it was almost certainly this, although it was almost certainly this would be the scenario you'd be facing for most of the ship, since the central area had been depressurized with no safety measures engaged, you'd been holding out hope that you'd find crew members alive and well. Despite the sight of the doctor, you still hold on to that hope. As you survey the room, I'm gonna make a note real quick. Sorry about that. As you survey the room, you return your attention back to the glass underfoot and shattered frontage of the cabinets. Opiates make me chatty unless you give me enough to knock out. So it's a truth serum for you is what it sounds like. It's one of those things where it's like, my inhibitions are gone. Let me just not shut the fuck up. Oof. That means you have to make sure you trust people whenever you go in for surgery, okay? Make sure you know somebody who won't record you. They're gonna record you anyways. But, like, you know, make sure it's somebody that, you know, you can at least feel betrayed by when they record you. Or just get somebody that you know is that's gonna record you anyways, just to skip, you know, the whole feeling of betrayal, I suppose. Whatever. What happened here? The ship's doctor, it looks like she was involved in a struggle down here, but I can't tell whether she died before or after the ship was depressurized. All vacant. Could whoever have done this been in for treatment? I doubt it. As you head towards the back of the room to examine the cabinets, you feel the crunch of glass fragments under your feet. Although the floor is scattered with various boxes and bottles of different medicines, there's something in particular that catches your eye. You squat down and pick up an open packet that you recognize: nutrient shake mix. Opened, like Cassandra uses. As you turn the pouch over in your hands, you look inside to find it's completely empty. The powder that should contain. Well, we did see a cyborg earlier, so maybe they have to eat nutrient shakes, and maybe that's why Cassandra has to eat nutrient shakes, because her diet has to be restricted in that way, because she's also a cyborg. Just saying. The cyborg theory lining up, because we're making up evidence, chat, okay? If we just headcanon it into reality, it's valid. I learned that one from the internet. And surgery, I'm usually fine with just getting knocked out myself. With surgery, though, the first major surgery I ever had, I actually don't remember anything because I was so tired. I think I fell asleep before they knocked me out with the medication. I think I just, like, zonked out. I was so tired. But the second time, I was like, I want to remember it. And feeling, like, staying awake to feel the drug go through your body is one of the weirdest feelings ever, because I can only describe it as a warm feeling going through your blood vessels throughout your body. This is for a major surgery where, like, you have to be completely knocked out, like 100%. This isn't like, you know, wisdom teeth extraction. This is they put a fucking IV into not your wrist or anything. They put it into like pretty much like right under your armpit on your arm. And you can feel that shit go through your blood vessels into your heart and then spread throughout your entire body. And it's just this weird warm sensation that's also somehow cold, as it's just telling your body, it's okay, start shutting off, start getting numb. You know, it's warm, you feel it moving through your body and it's warm, but then it creates a cool feeling in the fact that it makes everything numb. Shit's fucking wild. Placing it back on the floor, you look around and release it. Whilst all the boxes of medication are all still sealed, the packets you can see torn open are nutrient shake packets. Also, one of the worst things I've ever had is that I had a pick vein, is what it's called, and that is a mobile, like, you pretty much have like an IV and a fanny pack, and one time I had my pick vein that I had got stuck on a door handle and got tugged. And if you don't know what a pick vein is, it's not simply an IV in a bag. It also goes right under the armpit. Ooh. Actually, I think the surgery one was a normal IV, but for a pick vein, it goes right under the armpit, and actually the entire pick vein, the cord of it doesn't stop there. It actually goes through your arm, over your armpit, or in your armpit, and it actually goes all the way to your heart, and it empties the medication directly into your heart that you're using. And so I had something that was connected to my heart directly, and I accidentally tugged on it, and fuck me did that hurt. Now, in one regard, it didn't tug very far because the pick veins are actually like anchored to your skin, so that way they can't, like, you know, pull your heart, so that way it can't pull on your heart or anything. But fuck me, it still hurts, and it still feels like it gave a tug to your heart. Pick veins are fucking awful. Nope. For you is wisdom teeth extraction. Didn't want to be awake and see blades, needles, and drills. Yeah, I also just was like, for wisdom teeth extraction, I was just like, knock me out. I'm good. I don't need to be awake for this. I've had a metal bar literally shoved inside of my chest. I've been in a surgery where they literally broke my sternum, shoved a metal bar in my chest, flipped it, and then went, okay, go home. 6 months later, they're like, oh fuck, looks like there's complications. 6 months after that, they're like, we need to take the metal bar out or you're gonna die. And so then they had to like fucking fiddle the metal bar out of my chest that they already had broken my chest to get it in. They had to get the metal bar out of my chest without re-breaking my chest, because the whole point of the metal bar was to provide support for, like, it's like an internal cast to provide support, because I had a sunken sternum. So they had to, after only a year, they had to be like, okay, we have to take this metal bar out without re-breaking the chest by accident. And the chest isn't fully healed, so we have to be extra careful because it's supposed to be in there for 2 years, and I only had it in for 1. That was fun. Ooh, I've told that story many times though. I still love how they told me afterwards, like, yeah, the flesh all around the metal bar was black, which I didn't know what that meant as a kid, but as an adult I learned that means the flesh was necrotic. Fuck. Right next to the ribs. Oh, that bar that was meant to save my life and make me live longer and give me a... I probably didn't get any extra years from that surgery. It probably took years off my life, in all honesty. Ooh. My body deciding after 6 months, you know what? I hate nickel. I'm allergic to it. Only happens to 1 out of 5,000 people. I rolled the lottery and I won, bitch. Oh my god, I am happy I had the surgery, because even though it might not have given me any extra years on my life, I can breathe a lot better, and my heart, you know, I don't feel my heartbeat at a casual rate, because my chest is so sunken in anymore. You know, like, I have to actually work out, you know, work out and exercise to feel my heartbeat without putting my hand to my chest, you know? Let me tell you right now, feeling your heartbeat through the back of your chest, not the best feeling. Not a great feeling when that's just a casual thing. You don't really appreciate that that's like a casual thing until after you've had the surgery. You're like, wait, it's not a normal state of humanity just to feel your heartbeat through the back of your chest all the time? Shit. I never knew. That's crazy. Yeah, I still have the bar. I don't know where the bar is. I lost the bar. It's in this room, actually. It's just this room is a bit messy. But ironically, I have the anchors, which are these little spokes that went on the bar to keep it in place. I have the anchors, I just don't know where I put the bar. And the reason that's ironic is because normally I always lose the anchors because they're really small, and the bar is pretty big because it's a bar that goes across a human chest. But I can't find the bar no more. It's in here, don't worry. Ooh. Would someone really do all this for nutrient shakes? It's a cyborg. We've covered this. A cyborg would need that, and it'd be just, you know, good food. There's no one in there right now. No point in opening that door. I'm surprised we didn't get a card. We're gonna look at her again. Ship's doctor. We already looked at her. Shit. Really? We don't get a key card? She's a crew member. You stand over the doctor trying to see if there's any clues what happened beyond the crack in the glasses lens. As you survey her body, you notice that unlike the Dr. Rosarium, she doesn't wear her stethoscope around her neck or her keycard on her lanyard. Fuck off. Hang on, her keycard. That thought reminds you of the chief's instructions that you'd need to use a keycard from a member of the O'Brien crew if you... Yes, that's what I want. Give me a keycard. You steal your resolve, aware of what you need to do, but not finding the concept altogether pleasant. Oop, sorry about this. Squatting beside her, you pat the doctor down. Necrophile. Necrophiliac. Necrophile also works, I suppose. Although the thickness of your spacesuit's gloves makes the task difficult, you do your best to be respectful. Eventually, you reach the doctor's waist and feel a protrusion from her side. It's not a tumor. Open her white coat, you see an internal pocket, and after a moment spent trying to fit your gloved hand inside, you manage to grab a hold of something and pull it out. Access card. You stand up and read the name on the card. Dr. Esri DeBoer. You unclasp the pouch on the side of the suit, deposit the card, and close it back again. The doctor won't have the clearance you need to access the central computer, but maybe this will let me find someone who does. Thank you for your help, Doctor. I'm just sorry we didn't get here sooner. Move. Central hub. Having made your way back into the maintenance crawlway, you work your way into the darkness and dull starlight. The airlock that illuminates the central hub barely illuminates the exit above you. As you continue towards it, you pause for your radio hisses to life. Hello, Hansen? Lieutenant Commander Quinn from JFS Gundog. Cassie, what are you doing on this? We're picking up your signal and have arrived at the rendezvous area. Please transmit your precise coordinates. Over. Cassie, what are you? We read... Oh, this is a recording. We read you. That's a sweet voice you've got there, Gundog. I'm transmitting the coordinates and transmission update files now. It's good to finally... This is from when? Roger, JFS O'Brien. This is Lieutenant Cassandra Quinn from the JFS Gundog. We're picking up your signal and have arrived at the rendezvous area. Please transmit your precise coordinates. Over. We read you. That's a sweet voice you've got there, Gundog. I'm transmitting coordinates and the mission update files now. It's good to finally... The snippet of a conversation between Cassie and Lieutenant Bashir loops a few times until eventually fading out into static. With as little explanation as why the transmission started, it ends. So they may have been dead. Oh, they may have been dead for a while. I don't know. I know like the Cassie part is like, we were there for the Cassie part. But I don't know, for some reason that makes me feel like they might, like the Bashir part was never real. There might not be a Lieutenant Bashir aboard the O'Brien. What would be transmitting that recording? Ooh. He's gonna be pissed at us for going to the bridge, but we need to. As you make your way up to the ladder towards the bridge, you find your progress slowed by a bulk of your spacesuit as it catches against various protrusions and that stand out from the walls of the shaft. Despite having to stop multiple times to free yourself from these obstacles, you eventually see the faint outline of the entrance to the bridge above you. Clearing the remaining distance without incident, you step out from the hatch and onto the bridge. Okay, so let's take a look at this situation. They're dead as hell. But it appears that I think this is EXO and the commander are dead. The communication officer is not present, but the comms have been ripped out, which again makes me suspicious. It looks like the comms have been damaged, if not destroyed. The absence of any signs of depressurization when you remove the panel in the central hub, as well as what you'd seen in the sickbay, had prepared you for what you knew or you were about to see. We're not going to go to the hangar because that would depressurize the hangar. We're going to wait before we go to the hangar. We're going to go straight to the engine room and activate that. Knowing you were about to see it, however, did not make it any easier. At the station on the left, you see a slumped figure of a young man. From his uniform and general appearance, you recognize him as Lieutenant Bashir. Oh, Lieutenant Bashir was a real person. The officer that Cassie had been speaking to moments before the power went out on the Gundog. Unlike when he'd appeared on the Gundog view screens, the man you saw now had clearly suffered what looked like either a small explosion or massive electrical shock. Weird. The front of his uniform was at its best singed and at its worst completely charred, as was the skin of his hands and face. You grimace at the thought that could have what could have happened as you turn your attention to the captain's chair. There, slouching to the right, was the ship's captain, a rickus smile on his face, having seemingly suffered a similar fate. How do they both die like that? Whatever had happened to these two, it looks like something entirely different to what happened to the doctor in sickbay. Although she'd clearly been injured by something or someone, the cause of death for these two looked much more obvious. Although the question remained, how? You pause for a moment. You'd almost put your hand down on the headrest of the captain's chair, but you quickly move it away. Something had electrocuted these two then. Pretty grim, right? Well, we knew he was here. Why are we surprised? You almost fall backwards in surprise as Hansen's voice sounds suddenly from your helmet speakers, and he appears on the far side of the bridge, having emerged from underneath the control station on the right. Oh, maybe he was like doing that. He was getting the black box. Never mind. He was just getting the black box. Okay, so that wasn't sabotaged or nothing. Easy, Lieutenant, just me. Never seen what a fried human looks like. You take a deep breath in and exhale, catching the breath that Hansen had just scared out of you. Damn it, Cross. What the hell were you doing hiding underneath there? Following orders, sir. Remember the plan? Hansen lazily waves the folder you'd passed on to him. At you. Waving wait, these guys look like they've been electrocuted. Based on where they are, did you check? Loosen up, Lieutenant. Power's not on. What's there to check for? You can't help but be amazed at Hansen's cavalier attitude towards the risk of painful death via electrocution. And he survived in a fucking war zone for like 12 hours. I think he's seen worse. Alright, how's retrieving the black box going? Not bad. I've managed to get most of the casing undone, but there's a lot going on in there, and this suit doesn't make it easy. What about you? Find anyone? You turn to look at the lieutenant and the Lieutenant Bashir for a moment. At the captain and Lieutenant Bashir for a moment before looking back at Hansen. I checked the sickbay and found the ship's doctor. She's dead. Aside from her, there's two. These two are the only crew members I've managed to confirm. Not looking good. Because that keeps things simple. No survivors. We get this box and we get out of here. Kind of a dick thing to say out loud, but true. What? You want to hang around here a bit longer? This was a whole crew. Hansen. Some might still be alive. Guess you better get looking and find them, huh, Lieutenant? Ooh. Ease up, Lieutenant. I can say this from experience. If everyone's dead, there's no use wishing they weren't. It's not gonna bring them back. But if you're gonna find them, you should get moving. Probably not much air left anyway on the ship, even if they're lucky. With another shrug, Hansen walks away from you, heading back to the control station he was hidden under when you entered. Let me know when we're leaving, though, alright, Lieutenant? Despite already having Dr. DeBoer's key card, you still need a key card belonging to someone of the bridge crew if you were to have any chance of accessing the central computer to reactivate O'Brien. Well, he's likely less charged, so I'm gonna go with him. There's no better card to accomplish that than the captain's. As you walk around to the front of the captain's chair, you shudder. The shock that must have killed him had left his hands clasped to the armrests like talons. His face is gaunt and his eyes wide open, together with how the corners of his mouth had drawn back as far as they would go into a horrendous grin. The whole expression was unnerving. It was the Joker! It was the Joker, baby! As if he'd been killed by some fatal but hilarious joke. Oh my god, that would be a hell of a plot twist, you know? Is this Batman Beyond? It's like Batman Beyond is like, wait, you thought I only put like a microchip in one person? No, dude, I put microchips in everyone. I'm the Joker, baby. You can never kill me. This is a Batman story. You know what? You know what you need to do, and although it's a practical necessity, something about it feels wrong. Sorry about this, Captain Gerard. You pat the captain down to find no indication that he's carrying his keycard in his pocket. As you stand back for a moment, trying to think if there is anywhere he may have left it, your eyes are drawn to the band tightly clenched in his armrest, which also doubles as a control panel. You remember having seen Captain Bartomeu's insert her keycard into the equipment panel of the Gundog on the occasion to unlock certain functions. Jesus fucking Christ, I looked at the wrong thing for like going live. I looked at the recording timer and the recording timer is at 0 and I thought stream had crashed. Sorry. Oh my god, for my fucking heart skipped a beat there. I thought like stream crashed or ended without me noticing. A grim wave of realization hits you as you think that if the card wasn't on the captain, the control panel is the most likely place it would be. The only issue is that the Captain Gerard's death grip was covering the slot for the key card. With a knot in your stomach, you lay your hand on the captain's. A shiver runs down your spine. You're just starting to squeeze your fingers underneath the panel and start pulling when you look down and you notice the gleam of starlight reflecting off a piece of plastic by the captain's foot. With a huge sigh of relief, you kneel down and take the card from the floor. Luckily for you, the captain must have dropped it just before the shock. Oh, that's not in good condition, is it? As you pass the card from one hand to another, inspecting the front and the back, you see that it appears to have been all but melted. The plastic coating is mostly stripped away, and what remains was bubbled up and remnants of the magnetic strip flaking off. You can tell from its condition that it's not getting you anywhere. Fuck. You sigh and lay your, the remains of the card by the captain's hand. I can't find a card with access to the central computer. There's no hope for the O'Brien. Although you already have Dr. O'Beer's key card, don't fucking reiterate. For what? For that, you need either the captain's card or one from 2 members of operations. The captain's card had been fried beyond usability by whatever happened to him, but maybe Lieutenant Bashir's card had been more lucky. We're gonna have to find the third. We're gonna have to find the third member of the bridge crew. What's gonna happen? You gingerly move towards the lieutenant and, doing your best to be as gentle as possible, you pat down his left-hand trouser pocket. Feeling nothing through the thick glove of your spacesuit, you head to the other side of the chair before repeating the same process on the right pocket. This time you feel something. With a sense of unease, you attempt to remove the contents of his pocket whilst trying not to disturb the body too much. Eventually, but with some difficulty caused by the clumsiness of your spacesuit and your desire to disturb Bashir's body any more than you need to, you manage to pull out what feels like it could be his key card. Also fucked. You turn the card over and you realize it's also not usable. You can tell from its condition that it's also not usable. Great. Looks like it won't get me anywhere. Just like the captain's, hopefully I can find the second in command. Otherwise, there's nothing we can do for the O'Brien. Oh, so he was the communications officer, which makes sense, but I thought he was the XO. Nice flag. Nice flag for, very Expanse. Expanse has a similar flag for Mars. Expanse has Mars as like a red orb, and then it has 2 moons for the 2 moons of Mars on it as like 2 circles. Ooh. I'm gonna quickly save. Be here. Okay. We're going to go to the only place we can, and that is the Forsyth Thoroughfare. And hangar. With Dr. LeBrun's keycard, I'll be able to access the hangar, although there's a chance that whoever is in there may not be in a spacesuit yet. If I open these doors now, I risk pulling them out into the vacuum. There may be something I've missed that could let me get the access codes more safely. Okay, I'll have this sorted out. Okay, so central hub, move, let's see here, sick bay, aft side thoroughfare, let's see here, armory. Just like you had the other closed doors, go through the process of making as much noise as possible at the door, waiting for a response. However, there's no answer to your attempted communication. You head back, justifying the lack of response by thinking that no one should be in there anymore. Can I get in there? You didn't get any answer last time. There's no point in trying again. I want... Move to the armory. Yes. You didn't get any answer last time. I am... Central hub. 1 minute. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. Ooh. Okay, we're back. Move. Let's go. Wait, I know where we can go. We can go to Foreside Thoroughfare, move to Crew Quarters 2, move to O'Brien Crew Quarters. There's no indication anyone's in there, no sense in wasting your time, PST battery. Okay, so I guess not. Captain's Quarters. Alright, let's go for it. Ooh. Wait. You know that you're not going to find the Captain Gerard in there, and the chances of anyone else being in these quarters is extremely slim, but the potential that there might be something of use in there, like the O'Brien's access codes, is too great to ignore it. Yes. You kneel down beside the terminal to linked to the captain's quarters and begin a well-practiced process of connecting the PSD and going through its menus. With a sense of trepidation, you unfasten the pouch on your belt and take out the doctor's key guard. As the security officer, your card had enough authority to access every room short of the central computer, even the captain's. You weren't entirely sure that a doctor's card would be sufficient. Without much of the alternative, you slide the Dr. O'Beer's card into the slot and hold your breath. The doctor would need to have emergency access in case of medical emergency, so they should. Thankfully, you see that the doors begin to slowly slide open, and with an exhalation of relief, you stand up. Once the doors open enough, you allow you through. You make your way inside. I guess these are colonies then, so it is a cluster. So this isn't Jupiter, but this is Europa, and it is colonies like in Gundam. Ooh. And so I guess there's 4 colonies around Europa. As you've expected, Captain Gerard's quarters were almost identical to Captain Bartholomews, with a few small differences, like the lack of vomit and the reek of booze. Like the lack of an open bottle of liquor, as I was saying. In the place of whiskey bottles, you'd see the Captain Mary's room. Wait, in Captain Mary's room, you see a neatly pruned bonsai. But beyond that, there's nothing obviously distinct. Even the artwork on the wall behind the desk is the same. Well, time to get to work, and let's see if I can find something useful. The captain's desk, just like Captain Bartholomews, it's got a terminal that looks like a telephone, probably a hotline to the bridge. I think I like Captain Gerard's desk ornament much more than Captain Bartholomews. Don't be an asshole. What could be in those files? Alright, the terminal's not going to be working, so let's check those drawers. You head around the back of the desk and try each drawer, working your way from top to bottom. Unsurprisingly, they're all locked. I'll need to find keys if I'm going to get in there. Oh, nope. Bed, chest of drawers, bedside table, pretty much all the same. As you head into the bedroom, you take the time to look around thoroughly. You hadn't liked doing this in the Captain Bartholomews quarters, and you didn't like doing it here anymore. Working your way from left to right, you check the large chest of drawers before moving on to the bedside table, and then eventually the area around the bed. Despite the rigorous check of the room, you don't find anything interesting or useful, just personal effects on the captain that you can't help but feel guilty for rifling through. Well, come on, wait a minute. Although you can't think of anything important that you might find in the captain's bathroom, you feel compulsion to search anyway. Despite a thorough examination, the only thing you leave with that you didn't have when you entered is a depth of knowledge of a captain's choice of bathroom products. There's a time and place for thinking about civil heritage, and now isn't it? There's no key. There's no sense in just... Okay, fucking... Okay, yeah, that's just... No, that's just... Without the captain's keys, there's no getting the drawers open. I'm not going to waste oxygen trying to break into them. I'm a little annoyed that I can't find the keys anywhere. There's Bashir, Henry... Boot. Let's see here. Okay. I hope. Ooh. No, looks like there's nobody there. I'm gonna check the bridge one more time. Constant seams, okay. Dead of space. Not there. Captain is dead as hell. Rest in peace. Doesn't look like there's anything here for us unless we can't look at the desk. Okay, we're gonna save just in case. The Dr. Brior's keycard. Ooh. In case we too kill a person, we're gonna save Scum a little. Alright. Front of the portable. One last thing. This is just running through the. You quickly unfasten it, and with the same infuriating slowness, it opens. Noticing that the absence of any signs of depressurization, you continue to force your way through the doors. As soon as you're through, you vault over your way down the stairwell, skipping increasingly more steps at a time as the gravity disappears until you eventually floating past the entire ship. How is there still gravity on this ship if it's shut down? I still don't get that. Setting your radio to broadcast with one hand and grabbing the guardrail in front of you with the other, you call out into the dark void of the hangar. Ah, damn! That's loud! Is anyone here? Hello? This is Lieutenant Vesper of the JFS Gundog. We've come to help. Hello? You peer into the darkness, straining to see any signs of life. You knew that you'd heard activity in here from earlier, but... So, where were they? Incoming communication. Oh, that's a good sign. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a good... Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. Hey. You stand frozen in place, unable to move your legs, unable to speak, as the huge machine that was just pulled itself out of the darkness looms over you. This is it's unlike anything you've seen before. No ship, shuttle, armored frame, or worker pod that you know looks the slightest bit like it. That's because obviously it is a mobile armor, not a mobile suit, dumbass. As you will yourself to do something, anything, the thing in front of you remains totally motionless until suddenly something deep inside you tells you that you've only got moments to react to whatever is going on. What's that? Oh. You slowly raise both your hands. Thank God we saved. Palms spread and take a step towards the thing. Considering how this machine was in the O'Brien's hangar, it shouldn't be hostile. Maybe it was a prototype of something that they've been testing prior to their mission to investigate the strange signal. Like we had some things to, like we had, Dalton had his own little pet experiment. I'm Lieutenant Vesper of the JFS Gundog. We've come to help you reactivate the O'Brien. You wait for the response, but neither hear nor see anything that indicates whoever is on board has acknowledged you. Whoever is in that thing. I'm Lieutenant Vesper from the Gundog. We've come to... You pause, having just noticed the sparks of electricity appearing around the most forward protrusion of the machine. With a few seconds, you see it illuminate from the inside of the intense light. Fuck. I died. Acting entirely on instinct, you launch yourself sideways, only just in time to avoid searing beam of light. So bright, you involuntarily squeeze your eyes shut to look away. Missed me, bitch! As your vision returns, you look at where the beam had been focused and see warped molten metal surrounding a deep gash that runs along part of the catwalk where you'd been stood and then up the wall near the entrance. Through the vertical slice taken out of the wall, you can see the beam had penetrated all the way to the rear of the stairwell, slicing through the first set of steps in the process. Looking back to the machine, you can just torn through the interior of the O'Brien with ease. You can see the same electrical sparks and glowing light in front of the craft. The same survival instinct which made you dive out of the way the last time. Last bolt kicks in and pushes off the catwalk and split second before the other pulse of the light lances from the machine, liquefying the steel where you'd stood moments before. Grabbing the edge of the entrance into the stairwell, you redirect yourself and push off the wall, sending yourself up past the half-melted set of steps towards the door into the thoroughfare. As you stumble into the corridor, you grab your radio. Hansen, get to the Juno right now. We need to leave. You yell as you bolt from the central hub. Hansen, do you hear me? We need to get off the ship immediately. Don't worry, I'm sure it's Hansen, you scream one last time before sprinting down the remainder of the thoroughfare. As you pass boundary into the central hub, the corridor behind you is illuminated by another intense flash of light. You don't turn around, instead continuing to speed towards the airlock where Juno had been left. Hansen, I'm serious. We need to leave before the ship's torn to pieces. Get off the bridge and get down here. With no response to Hansen, the mind races. From Hansen, your mind races, sorry. You're doing your best to formulate a plan. When you look back at the four-side thoroughfare and see if it's scored with huge cuts that run from the floor to the ceiling, the liquefied metal of the ship's structure framing their paths. Damn it! The same instinct that had saved you in the hangar kicks in and you run towards the airlock, racing towards the open entrance and the stairs you can see in the distance. As you head towards the open air cockpit, An armored frame. You try and remember to start up sequence and it will let you pilot out of here. You begin to climb to the Juno's chest, and as you search the top, as you reach the top, look inside to see the pilot seat empty. Ugh! God damn it, Cross, where are you? Looking back towards the entrance of the airlock and seeing no one in the distance, you know you have a choice to make. No, wait for him. Ugh! As you cry in frustration, slamming your fist into the cockpit hatch, despite every instinct you have screaming at you to run, you know you can't just abandon Hansen regardless of his personality. He's still a crewmate. Your eyes fix on the corridor leading into the airlock as you wait for him to appear. You know he hadn't received your radio signal, but he must have seen what was happening at the ship from the bridge. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You mutter, your right leg beginning to twitch in anticipation. Ooh, that's not good. As the beam of energy tears through the airlock floor and ceiling, you barely react. You've made your decision and you're going to wait for Hansen until the last possible second. Cross, you asshole, you better get yourself into this Juno right now, I swear. You'll what, sir? At the entrance of the room containing the airlock, you see Hansen, black box under one arm, running at full speed towards you. I'm here now. Guess it's a shame I won't see what discipline you had planned for me. Kinky. Ensign, shut up and get your ass up here. Whatever you say, sir. In one swift motion, Hansen pulls himself up to the cockpit entrance and disappears inside. As soon as he is in, as soon as he's in, you enter after him and, oh, I'm not already in it? Okay, whatever. Quickly begin to buckle yourself into the passenger seat. Just in a few seconds, Hansen pulls the lever and that seals the Juno's cockpit and works his way through the entire startup sequence. Even before the main monitor is active, he pulls back on the flight sticks and you feel the rumble of Juno's engines moving the armored frame away from the ship as the main view screen switches on, showing O'Brien shrinking in the distance. Look at teeth. Excuse me. What did you do? 1 minute I'm pulling out the black box, the next I can see a light show going on outside and some kind of laser beam nearly cutting me in half. Well, I was gonna end when we got the key card, but I guess we're gonna be ending after this sequence. I didn't do anything. There was something in the hangar, then it went off. It was tearing the whole ship apart from the inside. So you tripped the AF weapon systems or something. Can't let you anywhere near those things without you causing problems. You're about to continue your protest at Hansen when you see a column of light penetrate the surface of the O'Brien. Oh, it's still there. What the? That's it. It's got some sort of prototype AF or something. I've never seen a weapon like it. Tore through the O'Brien's hull like paper. What the hell kind of weapon is that? No idea, but we need to warn the Gundog. Get back to the Gundog right now. I feel like those were the same thing. Ooh. What? And leave that thing out here? Whatever that thing is, it just shredded the O'Brien from the inside out with a weapon we've never encountered before. Our comms are out, and if it takes us down and gets the drop on the Gundog, they'll be sunk in seconds. Hansen looks from you to the screen showing the strange craft atop the O'Brien hull, and after a moment of deliberation, turns the Juno towards the Gundog and sets off at maximum thrust. If we can warn them, maybe Dylan can get it on long range systems and take it down with cannons before. Damn it! You're gripped tightly onto your seat as Hansen struggles to reorientate the armored frame. Something had just struck you. As the ensign regains control over the Juno, you see the enemy machine disappearing into the distance of the main monitor. That thing just slammed into us and took off like nothing happened. What the hell is it? It's heading straight for the Gundog. Go now! What do you think I'm doing? Hansen barks as he resumes maximum thrust, causing your machine to judder and shake. As the enemy shrinks into the distance on the Juno's monitor, Hansen doesn't let up the speed, maintaining a high speed of acceleration. So, that thing go fast. The tremors you can feel in the cockpit grow more intense and faster. The armored frame moves, grabbing onto the straps, holding you in place. With both hands, you pass your eyes over the readouts on the cockpit's various dials and submonitors. Almost all of them are flashing warnings or alerts, with the needles on the majority of the gauges deep in red. Cross, if you keep this up, the Juno's going to fall apart. Slow it down. Hansen smirks at your order, scoffing as he somehow finds more acceleration that increases the vibrations to the point that you feel like they'll shake you to pieces any moment. This is my Juno, Lieutenant. Don't tell me how to treat her. She's not as delicate as she looks. And we're gonna need all she's got to get back to the Gundog before that thing. Cross, if we get back, we're dead. Yeah, you can write me up to the captain when that happens. You groan and close your eyes, trying to ignore the beeping that's starting and the high-pitched whine you hear coming from the back of the cockpit. You're aware of every second that passes as two of you race back to the Gundog, the tension worsened by the near constant screaming of the warning lights. With Hansen in control, all you can do is hope that you get back in time before the Gundog can be cut to pieces by the weapon you'd seen make short work of the O'Brien. You've lost track of how long you've been pursuing the enemy when suddenly some garbled static bursts from the speakers and shrill, panicked voice screeches at you. I repeat, this is Lieutenant Lord of the JFS Gundog. We're under attack by an unknown enemy unit. All JCF ships in range, please respond. This is Lieutenant Lord, this is Gundog 1 approaching Gundog at... Cross, where have you been? Get back to the ship right now. We're under fire from something. Hansen rolls his eyes and he's cut off by Vanessa's demand. Roger that, ma'am. Gundog 1 returning now! Shaking his head rather than following up with an answer, Hansen quickly flicks a few switches and you can see the readouts on some monitors switch to display information about the armored frame's weapon systems. Oh, that's a nice little thing. That's a nice little animation they made. As he does this, you turn your attention to the main monitor. Good little flack like Battlestar Galactica style, keeping at a distance. In the distance, you can see the small lights flickering and flickering in and out surrounding a point in space on the screen. Readouts inform you it is the Gundog. With the Juno approaching and the ship at speed, you can see that the lights are actually rounds being rapidly fired from the Gundog's point defense systems, a collection of rotary cannons mounted on turrets along the ship's exterior. Oh, I was wondering, hold up, I was wondering what these were. I was wondering if these were like missile pods or escape pods. They were hatches for turrets. Okay, when I saw the other ship earlier. You can tell from their short bursts that the erratic shifts in the direction they're firing and the machine you ran into on the O'Brien is moving both quickly and unpredictably, with the automated cannons unable to keep up. Oh, they even have the cannons are even moving if you look at them. Ooh, that's a nice little feature. Lord, this is Gundog World. We're back at Cross. What the hell is that thing? How would I know? Useless bitch. You hear Hansen mutter something under his breath too quietly for the communication systems to pick up. Just destroy it. We've already taken some heavy hits to the port side. Okay, sorry, I was thinking of... I think that's the side facing away from us. I always get port side and starboard confused. I think starboard, though, is eastward if looking north, if I remember correctly, because that's where the stars rise. I think? So it would be the left side of the ship, I think? I can never remember. Just tell D's to watch the anti-air. As you and Juno close in. Ooh. You watch the trajectory of the shot being fired. That's an interesting thing it got going on there. Knowing that they indicate where the enemy machine was rather than where it is. Get a good look at it. I want to get one more good look at it. It's definitely like a mobile armor looking thing. Based on the speed at which it's moving, you know that if you're going to have a chance to take it, this thing down, you'll need to figure out a way to get ahead of it. You're gonna have to coordinate with Dylan to push it into you. You're about to make this observation to Hansen, but you see a deep focus in his face, his eyes tracing the path the enemy moves along as it weaves around the barrage coming from the ship. With a sudden flurry of motion to the controls, Hansen adjusts the armored frame's trajectory, sending it soaring uncomfortably close to the Gundog's bridge, just in time to intercept the strange craft as it rises up from the far side of the ship. Refusing the same evasive maneuvers, reusing the same... It was reusing animations. He was just watching the animation frames. Hansen yells, slamming down on the pedals. Hansen's position the Juno overtop the enemy, and you hear a heavy click as he pulls the trigger on the flight stick. Too easy. I don't think that did shit. As the rounds from the machine gun slam into the target, Hansen presses down on a button on the left flight stick, sending a volley of missiles roaring away from the Juno's shoulder pod and directly into the enemy, engulfing it in an explosion. Doesn't matter how powerful a machine is if the pilot's no good. Apparently you're wrong. What? As the smoke clears, staring back at you is the machine that you just seen hit by a swarm of missiles, each one individually powerful enough to destroy another armored frame. Instead of being totally destroyed, the craft looks completely fine. You don't even see a hint of scorch marks on its armor. What is this thing made of? Hansen snarls, pulling the trigger of the right flight stick again, this time emptying the entire magazine into the target. As if totally indifferent to Hansen's assault, the craft turns to face you, and you see increasing bright light begin to build in front of it. With sparks and crackles of electricity running from its nearby surfaces. It's late as fuck. I need to end the stream soon. Move! Don't tell me how to pilot! The ensign yells back at you as he navigates the Juno away from the beam that tears through the space you just occupied. Only seconds after what felt like a moment of triumph, the tables you had been so thoroughly turned, you find yourself being slammed from side to side as Hansen executes a rapid series of maneuvers in an attempt to escape the enemy's pursuit. Huge beams of energy blast through the space around you every few seconds as the Juno drives, climbs, rolls, and banks. As he weaves through the hails of bullets coming from the Gundog's own defensive systems and the attacks from the enemy machine, Hansen's breathing grows faster and faster. Hansen, you can't outrun it. We're going to need to figure something out. His eyes flickering rapidly back and forth from monitor to gauge, and his hands twitching quickly. Second sends Juno darting from place to place. Hansen doesn't seem to notice you at all. Hansen! Hansen! What? This isn't working. You need to do something. Don't tell me how to pilot. Stow it. You can't keep this up forever. We need to figure something out. As you yell at Hansen, you get through into the side of the cockpit by a high-speed turn that pulls off just as a huge beam passes overhead, illuminating the cockpit as the brightness fills the monitor. Come on then, sir. What do you have in mind? We should use the ship's main. You rock your brain trying to come up with some way to stop the enemy. You just watched it take a direct hit from a frame-bursting missile and come away without a scratch. If that didn't harm it, then nothing else Juno wielded could be of use. Your thoughts race as they try to come up with a solution. How do you destroy the invulnerable? That's it. What? If the missiles won't take it down, that thing, nothing else we've got is going to be able to destroy it. Great. So what, Lieutenant? You think we should just surrender now? Let it destroy us? That's not what I mean. If we can't destroy it, then we need to change tactics. We need to try to disable it. Hansen glances across to you with a sneer, clearly about to criticize your idea. Before he can respond, his attention is taken by another blast from the enemy's energy weapon, with which he evades at a very last moment. Dalton's been working on a compound to seal hull breaches, but he's been turning it into an ammunition for the Juno's machine gun too. If it works, we can trap this thing. That stuff's made to set hard enough to act as a new hull, where there's no way it could escape. Hansen scoffs at you, despite being in the middle of carrying out maneuvers involving suddenly braking, dropping downward through the space and letting the enemy machine fly overhead so that he can fire another volley of machine gun rounds at its underside. If it works, Lieutenant, what if it doesn't? Are you going to trust that little dork with our lives? Have you got a better idea, Ensign? That's what I thought. As the Juno continues to shake from the strain of its engines are under and sudden spins and turns Hansen is making it perform, you manage to lean towards the communication system and press down on a button that allows you to broadcast. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. Patch me through to Cadet Grange, whatever. Don't touch my control. Shut up, Hansen. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1. Patch me through, Cadet. What do you want, Vesper? We're just about to send Rumney out, but the launches pads are damaged, so they're coming out the main hangar door. Deal with that thing for a few more minutes. Nothing we got on the Junos are going to stop it, Lord. Just put me through to Dalton. He's busy getting Haru's AF out there. I'm in charge of this operation, Vesper, so don't go distracting my... Shut the hell up! Put me through Dalton right now! Oh, Lieutenant, oh God. Oh, you're doing your best, Haru, out there, but we just need... Dalton, forget about Haru. Did you manage to make any more of your sealant ammunition? Yeah, I managed to make enough 2 whole magazines, but send it out now. But, Lieutenant, I've not tested. Now, Dalton. Yes, sir. The cockpit shudders as the armored frame breaks suddenly, following a tight corner that takes it around the rear of the Gundog and out of sight of the attackers. Although you're slammed backwards, Hansen remains focused and unleashes a barrage of machine gun fire just as the enemy soars past it. As you recover, you little scratch, oh, itchy puppy. As you recover your glance at Hansen. Was that necessary? Never waste ammo, Vesper. Before the other craft can respond, Hansen quickly maneuvers away, and you see the empty magazine eject from Juno's machine gun. Ground, send out the ammo out on a supply launch. Heading 0 Mark 30, full thrust. Yes, sir, 0 Mark 30, launch in 4 minutes. Get it done in 2, kid. Yes, sir. He's right. With the enemy back in pursuit, Hansen brings the Juno up to full thrust as he navigates the armored frame above the Gundog into the location you just know has the most point of defense cover. You know, it is the best defense envelope. The pressure from the sudden acceleration pins you against your seat, but you manage to turn to look at Hansen and the mocking he'd just given Dalton at the forefront of your mind despite everything. No, he wasn't mocking him, he was fucking giving him an order. Get it fucking done quickly. You watch as Hansen's eyes flick rapidly to different screens and readouts within the cockpit, his hands moving almost too fast to perceive as the flight sticks, to simultaneously evade the fire from the Gundog and the attacking craft. Woo! You turn back to focus on the main monitor and see the enemy machine heading straight towards you, a charge that Hansen evades with a feint at the last possible moment. You sigh, thinking that it probably wouldn't be a good time to distract the pilot. As the attacking craft speeds away into the distance before stopping suddenly and turning on its axis to head back towards the Gundog, Hansen turns the Juno and speeds towards the front of the ship, moving to the location he instructed Dalton to send the ammunition. With the main monitor now focused on the open hangar door, you can see Dalton, just as ordered, sending the supply launching rocket towards you. The launch, little more than a large sled with a series of thrusters attached, speeds through the void towards you, and in a smooth motion, Hansen moves to meet it. He deftly manipulates the armor frame's hands to grab the machine gun magazine tethered to it without needing to stop. Pulling back just in time to evade another blast from the enemy cannon, Hansen slams the flight sticks forward, sending the armored frame tearing through space towards the opponent. This better work, Vesper. Before the craft can evade, Hansen brings the machine gun to bear on it and holds down the trigger, the rounds all meeting their mark. As the shots land, the enemy machine is engulfed in a sudden expanding mass that billows outwards from the point of impact and spreads all over the surface. Within seconds, the attacker is encased in a thick coating of Dalton's compound, which sets as suddenly as it expands, leaving the craft's long appendages visibly struggling against the material's restraining properties. Hey, that was not bad. The kid's got good work. But we're not done yet. Hold on, Lieutenant. Despite being almost entirely encompassed in sealant, your foe was still heading right for you. Where the hell do you think you're going? Hansen yells, sending the Juno straight towards the enemy. You're not going anywhere. With an impact that reverberates violently through the cockpit, the armored frame slams into the oncoming craft. Go to hell! Oh! Okay, that's one way to disable it. You watch as the rapid sequence of button presses on the right flight stick of Hansen's commands the Juno to let go of its machine gun and draw its combat knife. The whole armored frame shakes with each impact as Hansen drives the knife over and over into the small portion of the exposed armor showing amongst the massive sealant. Yeah, he bonked it. Bratty mech needs correction, bro. Your world becomes a cacophony of noise as the clash of the knife on the armored surface of the enemy machine, the screams of the Juno's engines as they struggle to counteract the other craft's thrust, and the various alarms and warnings all fill the cockpit. 60! Oh no, go down. Okay, Boldened, it kind of looked like a 60 in my defense. You? Ah, hell. Suddenly you're forced back into the seat by a rush of acceleration. Hansen, what's going on? You just about managed to turn your head against the force of the thrust to see Hansen shunting the flight sticks back and forth and stomping the pedals. His engines must have cut off, but the controls have gone on all. Sorry. Its engines must have shut off, but the controls are gone on all as I can't stop them. As Hansen continues to struggle with the controls, Vanessa screeches at you over the radio. Does she do anything else? Let's be honest. Sounding more panicked than ever. Cross, you're headed straight for the hangar. Change course, Cross. I'm trying. Cross, you're going to. And that's the chapter. We'll be back. Actually, next week, next Tuesday, we should be back. But we'll be back on that cliffhanger. Ooh. Let's, of course, do the responsible thing and save. Ooh. We'll actually go to 3 to make sure we have a clear save spot. That is what we're doing. Ooh. We are here. We're gonna have all this to, like, look over, figure out if the person in there is still alive. Probably not, but you never know. We might not have been stabbing the cockpit. We might have been just stabbing the reactor core. Ooh, that might be exposed for, so that way it can, have heat exchange. But let me actually, before I go, look for a place to link you guys out to, because you know how I like to link you guys out somewhere. I'm not big enough to raid, but we can still do manual raids. So let me see if I can find a place for you guys. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can find a place for you guys real quick on YouTube. I'll send you over to a friend of SS Isa. Ooh. It's I believe she's a bear VTuber, but it's a Kiriko Kume, and it looks like it's just a yapping stream, just a Zatsudon. And ooh, I'll find a place to link out for Twitch as well. I don't know if anyone stayed up late enough for Twitch, but I'll look for a place to send you guys off to. I'm gonna link you off to Mary Mary, EN. And that is the stream. We will be back tomorrow to finish the... Actually, I can show it. We'll be back tomorrow to finish the Gunpla of... Ooh. No, wait. Wrong thing. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will be finishing the high-grade Sigrun. Ooh. Which is actually a really nice mech so far. Really, really good quality. Really happy with it. Cannot wait to finish that tomorrow. The stream should be starting at 9, because I should be able to start a little early that day. I don't think we'll be starting at 8. Ooh, not that early, but we should be starting at 9. I hope to see you there, where we will be doing a comparison with the few iron-blooded orphan kits we also have. Which I really don't know if I think they're like all Barbatoses. Do I have anything that's not a Barbatos? Chat, didn't we have... The only thing that I think that we have that's not a Barbatos that's built is also another Gundam. It is... Oh, we have the Chimeras line. That's all we did That's all we did in February. We just build Chimerases. I forgot. How could I forget that? We built one Chimeras a week, I think, that month. So we have Chimerases and Barbatoses to compare it to. So please be there for tomorrow, but in the meantime, remember to have a great day, a wonderful life, and if you enjoyed this, show it through a like. If you're new here, subscribe or follow, depending on which platform you're on. But again, have a great night. And in the future, I'm gonna try to make these streams a little shorter for the gun dog, because 3 hours is a bit long. I'm gonna try to figure out like the halfway point of the chapter, and so we don't keep going to 1 o'clock, because I don't think that's good for you guys.